Is that better? No sound? Can you hear me now? Hit up one if you can hear me now. Can I? Can you hear me? Is there sound? Uh-oh. Hit a one if you can hear me. Okay. All right. See, I did all that talking for nothing. Apparently, I was talking to myself. I was like the crazy dude in the subway just having a conversation with nobody around and no earbuds and no phones present. Just rambling. My apologies, my apologies. See, I thought I was all set. Welcome to the live show. This is where mistakes happen. Nothing goes well ever. Like, well, actually, as crazy as it was, my first live, it went off so well. Like, as far as like the technical issues and everything else, I was like, oh, okay, this isn't bad. I could do this all the time. And ever since then, I've been messing up the whole way. Oh well. Welcome to the live show. This is what live entertainment looks like. I know a lot of people get wrapped up in the production value of it, thinking that everything is perfect. But yeah, a lot of this stuff don't work out well at all. It's kind of crazy. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me for the My Take. We'll do the whole spiel again because apparently I didn't really get it right the first time. So we're going to do it again. Welcome to the My Take After Party. I hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. As I was saying, if you guys have to check out or you check in and then check out because you have work or things to do the next day, tomorrow morning, because it is Monday, the dreaded day that it is for some. I understand. I will not be offended. I only ask that you guys hit the like button to let people know that you enjoy what I'm doing. When I have my sound on, of course. When I turn the mic on, it's always awesome. As opposed to just looking at me by myself. Yeah, hit that HBO special. I appreciate that. Thank you guys so much for mentioning that. And I got a little message, automatic message. Check that out. Boom. It should be coming up soon, hopefully. Probably not, though. Oh, well. Another cog in the wheel, as it were. All right, so I pulled up some notes about some of the things we saw. Now, obviously, because the show just went off, or at least for me, the show just went off, I don't have clips pulled from the show tonight, but we could talk about it anyway, because there's a lot of stuff that I thought was pretty interesting that happened during the course of the show, and I thought it was stuff that we'll talk about. I'll probably release some videos where I'll get more in depth with some of the things that we're going to talk about. But, and especially as you sit down, this is my first impression, my first blush. And as I sit down and consider it more, I might come up with something a little more involved, possibly more entertaining. Who knows? Maybe I'll craft some jokes around it. Yeah, hit that like button. I appreciate that. Let's try this thing again. I set up this little button that's supposed to remind folks to hit the like button, but we'll see if that just works. Now, the first thing that I wanted to talk about, as you guys come in, hit that like button. Let a brother know that you present, be present and accounted for. The first thing that I noticed in this episode was the Janelle Meri Stand Up For Yourself episodes. These two ladies decided that they were going to stand up and be counted. And I, for one, am super excited about the prospect that they're finally sticking up for themselves. Because we watched, 17 seasons prior to this, where these women have been getting run over, taken advantage of. Cody's been kind of shucking them to the side, doing whatever he want to do to them. And then he pretends like it's not a big deal, which is insane and infuriating all at the same time. So Cody can multitask because he can piss you off and make you want to drive to his house. And at the same time, you're sitting there wondering what is going on. Maybe I'm crazy. Like half the time I'm watching this show and I can't be the only one. Like, as a matter of fact, let's do a sample. If you agree with what I'm saying, as far as watching this show, and so a lot of these reality shows, you sit there watching it and be like, maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe I'm the crazy one. Like, you sit there, you're yelling at the TV, like, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe people are filming this, and there are other people in the room letting this happen. I can't be the only person who has a problem with this. And I think that's why so many people join in with so many of these different YouTube channels. When people come out and say, like, I feel like I'm going crazy watching Cody talk to these kids the way he's talking to them, treating these women the way he's treating them, and then every time I turn around, they keep showing up, keep showing up, keep showing up. And the ironic part about it is that we all know people who do this. We all know people who are involved in relationships that they shouldn't be in. The relationship's no good for them. It's killing their heart, their soul, their mind, their spirit, everything else. They're not getting, I mean, hell, they're not even getting their bottom knocked out right. And they're not getting anything from this relationship. And yet and still they show up and they're committed and dedicated to keep showing up to these relationships. So it does happen. It's not like it doesn't happen in regular society or culture. But when you're watching it on the screen and it's so blatant, and they can go back, like usually if you're going through the difference between like normal life and these TV shows is normally when you're going through these kind of things, you don't have somebody taping it. You don't get to go back and watch it. So you can kind of lie to yourself that it wasn't as bad as you remember. It didn't really happen like that. It wasn't that bad. You know, but these guys, they can go back and look at not only Cody mistreating them and their kids, but they can go back and listen to him talk about doing it. Yeah, I did it. I looked her right in the face and said, you don't have a place to stay. And I don't care. I'm not going to break my back for it. We're going to get into that. Because we got to talk about that. With Cody coming over to the apartment, oh, baby, we're going to be talking about that. Because, you know, even though I didn't have anything from the show, I wasn't able to pull any clips from the show, you know James bring them. So I gotta have some kind of clips. I have to have some evidence to support what I'm saying in my belief system. I have to do it. Sorry, baby. I gotta do it. I gotta do it. So I'm bringing in some receipts about what I've noticed in previous episodes, because I knew some of this foolishness was going to jump off thanks to the trailer. So I prepared myself a little bit so that we have something to refer back to as we have this conversation. Now, like I said, one of the big things to me was feeling a certain level of excitement that both Meri and Janelle are starting to recognize the I won't say stupidity. I apologize. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I'm talking out of school. I'm being rude. They're starting to recognize the nonsensical nature of the relationship that they have with Cody and how little he's been contributing to them and their lifestyle. They're starting to recognize that, yes, you deserve more. You deserve to have better. You don't have to settle for the little bit of scraps and a little bit of time that he's willing to spend with you when he's not hanging out with his family. Because for the most part, many of us have already said this, so I'm kind of retreading old ground when I say this, but for the most part, Janelle and Christine and even Meri, even though they were there first, he treats them as though they're the mistress. They the side chicks. They the ones that he messing with on the side. They the ones that they just spending time with. Okay, we buy new and used scrapbooks? A scrapboo? Because it cut it off. Let's get it. That's right. Let's get it. Thank you so much for the super chat. But they're finally starting to recognize that. And to be honest with you, the foolishness of TLC is they think that, okay, we can milk this season for all it's worth. They don't recognize the reason why many of us are tuning in each week, because I'm going to keep it all the way a stack. I'm keeping it all the way 100. I didn't really start watching Sister Wives till actually it was legitly season 16 when Christine had enough and she put Cody's shit in the garage. When she did that, I was like, of course. Of course she's going to do that because you're an idiot and you don't know how to treat your wife and you took her for granted. That's what's going to happen. And I saw that more not so much as a kind of a calling card for just polygamists. I actually saw that as something that everybody who's in a relationship should take note of. If you're in a relationship and you disrespect your partner, you take your partner for granted, then there is a possibility you can lose your partner. There's a possibility that you're going to take them for granted and they won't be there when you decide that you want to start doing right. They don't stick around for that. And that's what happened with Christine. Oh well. Big shout out to Karen Winsmore. Apologize if I'm screwing your name up, which I most likely have done. But thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Oh yeah, for Janelle's house to be Cody's house, he need to pay rent first. Hey, you gotta start kicking in, player. We gonna talk about that because that was a thing that kind of stuck with me too. KM Gilberston, I appreciate the super chat. Wow, that was duller than dirt. Now I'm just here to see what you have to say, James. I appreciate that because one of the things that I'm talking about with regard to TLC taking advantage of the viewership is that what they don't recognize is many of us are tuning in because a lot of the things that we assumed was going to happen is starting to happen. Like I'm not a fortune teller, but I could have told you that people involved in these types of relationships, unless you're specifically in tune with your emotional well-being, you're in tune, you have emotional intelligence, you have, some intelligence, period. You will not succeed in these types of relationships. You have to have an inordinate amount of sympathy, compassion, patience, time. It helps if you are independently wealthy. Because, people go and want stuff. And if you have, 15, 20 kids, then I don't understand how you could have 20 children and not be, sitting on top of a diamond mine, a gold mine, or oil well. Like, I just don't understand how you could do that to yourself and to them. And then what's funny to me also is that Cody and the family always seem to have like these highfalutin ideas that all their kids are going to go to college and they're going to pay for their kids to go to college, no problem. But as it turns out, these people see, at least from what I'm doing as far as the pocket watching that I'm doing, they're horrible with money. Like, they're horrible with money. They've made millions of dollars on this TV show. And for family members to sit there and say that we don't have anything to show for it, that's just poor money management. Like, you guys are like, I'm looking at that house Cody living in. I'm looking at the paintings on the walls. I'm looking at the watches that he's wearing. I'm looking at a lot of the stuff that he has, a lot of the things that he spent money on, that where he should have taken that same money and put it towards something else. We'll talk about like the money aspect, because as we get into like the Janelle and the Cody Pass thing that he had a conversation about, we'll kind of get into the money part of it. So I don't want to jump too far ahead. But as we go, I just want to read some of these. Yeah, and I agree with that. Infinite insight, like she said, when Cody's okay with the marriage is breaking down, so he was okay with dumping Meri. He was fine with that, telling her coming back, begging him, and that's one of the things that he struggles with as far as Christine and Janelle. So I'm glad that Meri is finally sticking up for herself and recognizing her value and her worth, and saying, you know what, this shit is not worth it. All he doing is just making me go bald, losing hair, and I'm not living my best life. And when she gets down there and she's hanging out with her friend, what is her friend's name? Lisa, I think it was. Well, her buddy, the buddy that she has down at that location. I wrote it down and I dropped it. But her friend that she has down there in Padawan, she's a different person when she's hanging out with her. Like, she's not, like, I'm not really, whoa, Meri is incredible. But, like, Meri is a different person. She's actually more likable when she's hanging out with her. And I think a big part of it is that when she's hanging out with the family, she's spending a lot of time trying to pretend to be somebody that she's not. And that in itself can be exhausting. Like trying to be somebody whom you're not actually, who you're not really in real life. You're trying to play a character. That shit is tiring. Like, I don't know how people do it. So, the first thing that I wanted to talk about, let's kick this off. Jen. Yeah, thank you very much. Jen. No disrespect to Jen. But the first thing I wanted to talk about was actually Christine's story. All right. First things first, I was very excited about them. And this is, again, to TLC, let them be themselves. Let them start being real. Because Christine got a cake that McKelty had baked. And she's like, one has alcohol, heavy booze. The other one's for the kids. One's for adults and one's for the kids. One, you're going to either be in the hospital trying to explain to the doctor why your kid is drunk, or you're going to be talking to the police and Child Protective Service if they eat this cake. So I appreciate them letting people know what time it is. But I also appreciate Janelle and Christine finally coming to a point where they're actually being more accessible as people. For the first 15, 16 seasons, because I went back and did the retrospective, even though I started on season 16, I went back to episode 1, season 1, and watched all the way through. So I'm completely up to date. And maybe even more prepared because a lot of the stuff is fresh in my mind and I got to see the tail end of it and then I see the build-up. But in any regard, I watch them season after season pretend that they don't curse. They've been cussing like sailors since season 16. Like the tail end of season 16 when Christine said she was leaving, to 17 where she actually was packing her house up and getting ready to sell her house. They've been cussing like crazy. And then I remember when they went away and they pretended like they were teetotalers and, we'll all sample some beers and we'll just kind of taste them a little bit because we don't imbibe. And Robyn was sitting there saying, this is because this doesn't bring us closer to our religion. We don't believe in this kind of thing. So, no, I will not let alcohol pass my lips. And I even got the feeling back then that the other 3 wives was ready to go. They was ready belly up to the bar and start taking them down. But they had to snitch with them. So they, we just gonna taste it. I'm just gonna swish it around my mouth, make sure I have a bucket so I can spit it out. But apparently, when they get down there and they got busy with that cake, because both Christine and Janelle was like, hell yeah, I had some of that alcohol cake. Hell, I was looking for the bottle. And I'm with that. Be yourself, have a good time. And I'm not saying you got to go get drunk to have fun, but I'm just saying, if this is who you are and this is what you do, don't let, TLC or anybody else try to tell you that you got to pretend to be somebody else. That's 90% of Cody's problem, is that he spends so much time, both he and Robyn spend so much time trying to pretend to be something that they think other people are going to accept, that they come off as fake. They come off as liars, probably because they are fake liars, but they come off that way, and the audience can always pick up. One of the things that I've noticed about, anytime I've done any type of presentation or talking with people, folks have an inherent way of being able to discern, for the most part, on a gut level instinct, whether you're full of shit or not. And if they figure out that you full of crap, full of bunk, full of hooey, then they will respond to you that way. They'll either accept you or they won't. And if you can't fool all the people all the time, you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time. Some people you can't fool none of the people none of the time. That's Cody and Robyn. But because we see right through them. But they try to put up these false pretenses for the audience, and we're not responding to it, and then they get mad that we see through their veneer of bullshit. With Christine and Janelle, they're actually coming out, and to be honest with you, the more they reveal about themselves, honestly, the more they appeal to the audience members and the stronger support they have. So that's a lesson for everybody involved in the show. Be more like Christine and Janelle. Even with Meri, to be honest with you, Meri had a scene with her friend Jen that I was like, wow, she's okay. Like, she had something she said and I thought it was funny. I was like, that was the funniest thing I ever heard Meri ever say in this whole show. Like, she's been trying to crack jokes, her and Robyn being fake, you know, ha ha ha, we gonna do fake caramels, or how do they say, caramels. We're going, when Cody had him built, trying to have a bake off for his mom's caramels to make him happy. Caramels, however you say it. And so he had these women after Christmas. They up early, wrapping presents, probably by themselves. The presents that they bought for the kids themselves, wrapping the presents, getting the houses ready for Christmas, doing the whole Christmas party, the dinners, the whole nine. He wanted them to go back after all that and make him some candy. Because he's selfish. Candy coated Cody. Jackass. So, and they had this whole thing where they were trying to crack jokes and make fun of the whole instance of, oh, he's so funny because we're going to buy some caramels. We're not going to make shit. That was corny. But what she did with Jen tonight, I thought was more endearing, and I thought it would show more of her personality. I'm not necessarily ready at the moment to watch a Meri show, but this kind of puts you on a path where I can now see where it could possibly be possible. I don't know how many seasons they're going to be able to get with just Meri and Jen, but I can see from her being herself where there is a possibility for her to have that opportunity. Before tonight, I was like, there's no way in hell she's going to have a show. Yeah, Meri thought Robyn was a friend. Yep. We see how that worked out. Friends like that, you don't need enemies. You know what I mean? The next thing I wanted to talk about was with the Christine's party. My favorite part of that whole thing was when, because I wish I had the clip. I swear I did, because it just tickled my soul watching. Because I was like, this stupid ass lady, what are you, crazy? When Robyn was complaining about not being invited to Christine's birthday party. Oh, me and my children, we weren't invited to the birthday party, and they were there having fun. And I can't tell you how much it hurts my heart and my soul that they were having fun without us. It's like, you're a ridiculous person. Of course she's not going to invite you to her birthday party. I wouldn't invite. Who invites their ex and their ex's girlfriend or wife or husband or boyfriend to their birthday party? Yeah, come on out. We having a party celebrating me. Maybe you guys can show up and kill the whole mood for the party. Maybe you can ruin this event for me too, like you have for the last 30 years of my life. Of course. Here's a question for Robyn. Have you invited Christine to one of your birthday parties? Since she left, you've had a birthday. Your kids have had birthday parties. Have you said, hey, Christine, my kids are having a birthday party. I would love for you to come over to my house to celebrate my day with my kids. I'd love for you to do that, Christine. Why don't you come on down? And then tell a story about how Christine told you no, she's not coming. That would make more sense to me as opposed to you trying to impose yourself on her day at her house. Like, this is the crazy part of the Brown family. Like, they keep imposing themselves into relationships and people's lives and people's situations where they aren't welcome. I 100% agree with Christine back in season 17. If you didn't have a conversation or a relationship with her prior to her leaving the family, why in the world would she want to have a relationship with you after she left the family? You couldn't pick up the phone or come to my house before, but now that I'm talking about leaving, we gotta be best fucking friends? Are you insane? Are you a stupid person? Like, there's no way I'm picking up the phone and calling you. Pardon my French, by the way. But there's no way in the world. Like, if we couldn't talk and communicate and we didn't have things in common before, then I'm not going to start calling you now. If you didn't think I was important enough for you to have a conversation or a relationship with me when I was here and I was trying, why are you trying to have a relationship with me now that I'm gone? Realistically, most likely, Robyn wants to have a relationship with Christine's money and bank account. I don't want to be friends with you. I want to be friends with your checkbook. It's pretty much where Robyn is. How am I going to pay for my stuff if you leave? We got to keep this family together. But that killed me. And it also put me in mind, like I said, because, James, I bring the receipts. So I wanted to show something that happened in a previous episode regarding them getting together as a family. Big shout out to Susie Snyder with the $4.99 super chat. If I was Christine, I would have invited Robyn to a dog show if she was picked to win. Rough. You guys are rough. You guys take those shorts. But I don't disagree. It wouldn't even occur to me to do that. Like, I heard there was a big thing where, Christine got married. Obviously, we're not going to see that this season. We'll probably see that like season 23, the way they're at the pace they're going. But there was a big thing where they were saying, oh, Christine didn't invite Cody or Robyn. They weren't allowed to show up. Hell no. Who invites their ex to their wedding so they can spoil it, especially when the ex is bitter? It's not like they had a cordial breakup. Cody's still sitting around talking about, they shit talking to me, they making me feel bad because they talking crap behind my back. Well, maybe if you were a better husband, they wouldn't have much to say. Just a thought. But let's get to this clip. This is a clip I pulled because I brought them receipts. Had to, y'all. I'm sorry, I had to. This is a clip where they were talking about the reunion. Getting together for a family reunion. Now, usually when you get together for family reunions, you could have a family reunion at somebody's house. In this particular case, because they don't necessarily get along, and you don't want to be at somebody's house because of the power dynamic. I understand this is part of the reason why Cody is so insistent that when they get together for the holidays, he wants everybody to come to his house, to his domain, so that he is able to establish a distinct power dynamic with the kids when they get over there. That's why he's so pressed about them coming to his house, and he doesn't want to meet somewhere neutral. If you do a family reunion, you could have the family reunion where the adults could kind of get together and maybe speak to each other on a cordial level, but you can allow your kids to be able to play with each other, especially since you've been pumping and pushing on these children that they are brothers and sisters this entire time. Many of them for their entire lives. You've been telling them that they're brothers and sisters. They have to accept these other kids as their brothers, full-blood brothers and sisters, even though they kind of half or whatever. But they have to accept them as full-blood brothers and sisters only for you to tear the family apart. So Christine comes up with the idea, Christine and Janelle, and having their conversation, I would be open to a family reunion. I would be open to the possibility that the kids could get together. And this is what Christine and Robyn had to say about the prospect or Christine and Meri had to say about the prospect of a family reunion.
Yeah, I think I would be open to doing some sort of family reunion thing. I don't think it would be too incredibly awkward.
I would do a family reunion again, just to get the kids together. Absolutely. I wouldn't have great conversations with Meri or Robyn or Cody.
And there it is. And I agree with what Christine said. Christine at this point had been slighted. She'd been heavily slighted by Cody and Robyn. That every opportunity they had since the tell-all, they've been on television running Christine down into the dirt. Every conversation they had, hell, when Cody was about to break up or trying to figure things out with Janelle, and he was on the verge of breaking up with Janelle and that marriage falling apart, he's still talking about Christine and how she left and how it messed him up and how he's still trying to go through that and get over it. How you gonna talk to your current about your ex? Oh, my ex messed me up, dog. I don't know if I can take it anymore. I'm catching the vapors just thinking about it. What is going on? What is going on? Talk to me about what's going on with us, not what's happened with your other relationships. But that's kind of where Cody was. And he talks shit about her this entire time. As much as he talks about, oh, she's running me down, she's making me feel bad, she's saying things about me, blah, 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 blah. He's been running Christine down. He stood on her porch at her house and yelled at her. I should have pulled that clip where he was standing talking about the knife in the kidneys and all I've sacrificed to love you and all that craziness. And he was standing there hooping and hollering on her porch, cussing her out, talking about she's taking all the kids away and destroying the family and all the damage that she's doing. She's still willing to meet with him and Robyn, who also sat on her porch at her house and called her a liar. Oh, you a liar because you talking about we the only ones that had a good relationship, and that's crap. I never said that. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You said that. I never said that. I don't know what the hell you talking about. You crazy ass bitch. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I was expecting Christine to say. You crazy mother. Look, I never said that. I don't know who you're listening to in your ear, what voices you're hearing, but those words never came out of my mouth. That's something between you and you. I never said that. Janelle, did you hear me say that? I never heard you say that. Even Meri and Cody was like, I didn't know I did what you were talking about. Cody, mister, I'm on your side all the time. Baby, you kind of losing it. You need to take one of them pills. Oh, man. Yeah. You said Robyn had a problem with the kids eating the food in her fridge. Yeah, I heard that there was an issue where she was kind of off-putting to the kids when they came over to her house. Like Christine, she had an open house. Like basically the kids would come over, eat out of her refrigerator. That's also part of the reason why Christine, she caught a lot of crap from Cody because she didn't want to live in the one house. And part of the reason why she didn't want to live in the one house is because she felt like she was never the queen of her domain. Like she didn't have control of her house because so many people would come over her house and use her resources to like feed themselves. So she'd always have to keep her refrigerator stocked and full because all the kids would come over and pull her refrigerator doors open. And so she was basically taking care of the family. She was a big caretaker for the family for a lot of years. And that created a lot of stress on her. She never felt like she even, to the point where she never felt like she even had her kids in running because she was so busy taking care of everybody else's kids and making sure everybody else's needs were being met. She even kind of had regrets that she wasn't taking care of her own household. But like I said, Christine is willing to have the family reunion with these folks. However, let's listen to what Robyn, Cody, and Meri had to say.
I feel like doing something like that when things aren't resolved and worked through is just asking for trouble and fights.
After the trash talking that Christine has done on me, I would never want to do a family reunion with her at this point.
I mean, I don't really care if I interact with Robyn and Meri from here forward.
All right, I was mistaken. I lied, y'all. It wasn't Meri, it was Janelle. I don't care if I meet with any of them. And then she even repeated that currently in tonight's episode, where she basically said, you know, I don't have a relationship with them before. I haven't talked to Meri in a year. Robyn and I don't have much in common. I'm not really getting along with Cody, so there's no reason why the two of us would associate that way. She has no interest in associating with Robyn. Ironically, and this is one of the things that I thought about, I don't know if I wrote it down in my notes, but ironically, this is pretty much how Cody had laid his family out. He wanted his family to be separate and separated. Or at least when Robyn entered into the picture, she insisted that she kept herself separated, her and her kids be separate from the family. The crazier part of that whole situation, when she insisted that her family be separate from the other family members, was that she wanted her kids and her to live separate, but she also didn't want the other wives to live amongst each other either. So I think that was also part of the big push for them to move to Las Vegas, where her family is from. Nobody, a lot of folks even hit it in the My Take comment section, that it's weird that they moved to Las Vegas when nobody else lives in Las Vegas except for Robyn's family. So every move that they made always played into something that benefited Robyn in some way, but disadvantaged the other wives in the other ways. So she moves to Las Vegas. She moves to Vegas. That's where her dad lives. And her mom was in Vegas. Whoa, wow, good thing for Robyn, and she has a support system there. What about the other ladies? Oh, their families are all in Utah, Montana. Like, they're spread out in those areas, but nobody lived in Vegas. Then they moved out to Arizona, same difference. Dayton, her son, is going to Arizona for college. All of a sudden, guess what, y'all? We got to sell all the houses and get our asses out to Arizona at the benefit of Robyn. Oh, I had no idea. I had nothing to do with that. I don't know why Cody did it. He's so crazy. It's the Cody coaster. Hey! I wish I had that clip. I have that clip. I didn't load it up. But that's what Robyn played. That's the game she plays. So it's ironic to me that they're so pressed about getting together, especially Robyn, so pressed about going over to Christine's house because things aren't resolved. There's no reason why we should be able to get together for a family reunion. Well, what about going over to Christine's house? Well, it hurts my heart that I wasn't invited. But you haven't solved any problems. Did you call Christine? Did you pick up the phone and talk to her? No, I never did. But, those problems need to be resolved before we get together. Unless, of course, it's over at Christine's house and she's having a party. And like I said, the only thing that I think she's upset about is not so much that Christine was having a party and she wasn't invited. She's upset that other members of the family are getting together. And because she doesn't have a relationship with those members of the family, she doesn't think that anybody should be able to get together. She wants the family. This is a crazy dichotomy of Robyn. She doesn't want the family to be together unless it suits her. But then when it suits her, she still doesn't want the family to be together. But then when the family is apart, she's upset that the family's not together. And you go round and round and round that crazy ass coaster. Like Robyn is riding that merry-go-round where nothing makes sense. Like I don't know how Cody's doing it. Because you give to her, and then the thing that you give to her, the thing she says she wants, the minute you give it to her, all of a sudden she's insulted that you gave her the thing that she's been asking for the whole time. So I wouldn't know what to do with that. Like I couldn't do that. We buy new and used. Thanks for the super chat. Do you think Goblin and Cody, Goblin? Oh, do y'all think they would knock a boots before the wedding? Do bears shit in the woods? Does a bear shit in the woods? Do I think they was knocking boots? Don't nobody drive 5 hours to see somebody every weekend. There's not. And Cody, I would say, no, I won't say nobody, because there are guys who would do that. Chumps, but no, I'm just there are guys who would, because they enjoy that company, they enjoy that time, they would drive 5 hours to go see somebody and not engage in sexual relations. Cody, Mr. Convenience, Mr. Everything's got to serve my needs or my purpose or somehow what I want out of a situation. Do I think he would drive 5 hours and not be knocking the bottoms out of something? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And especially they were dating for like 10 months. So this is from a culture where they usually get married after I think he knew Meri for like 6 months, and she was the long end of the long courtship up until Robyn, who he dated for 10 months or courted for 10 months. So no, absolutely not. Was he knocking them boots? Yeah, he was. And he was going out there by himself. The craziest part to me was he was taking his kids out there with him. Like that's ridiculous. Well, I guess not so much, because the kids will watch the children, I guess, when they went down to the Hosey Mosey and did the vertical mambo, and then they come on back. 2 months. What is that? 2 months? 2 months what? Yeah, the best customer. Kath with the best customer comment. Yeah, put out before first marriage. Yeah, I know exactly. Like Robyn is not, I mean, and I don't want to, like I said, I'm not even mad that that's what you do. You do what you got to do. Because Lord knows I'm not a saint. So I'm not going to sit here and pass judgment on anybody and what they do in their boudoir. I just don't like the hypocrisy of it. That's the only thing that kind of bothers me. Don't be all about preaching to other people that you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that. And in your personal life, you doing exactly what you telling everybody else that they shouldn't be doing. That's the only thing I disagree with. So and again, this goes back to being real. I'm a grown-ass man, Doc. I've been a grown-ass man for a long time. And I know that when you hit a certain point, you just have certain things that happen in relationships. And there are certain possibilities that happen. It doesn't say that every time you go out with somebody, whether it's 1 month or 2 months, a day, a week, 10 years, that you're automatically going to have intimacy. No, not at all. Not at all. But I don't see Cody spending this much time, energy, and effort in going out there and not getting anything from it. I just don't see it. In a way that she could wow him, her being a former diesel model, jeans model on Instagram. I was wearing my diesel jeans on my photo shoot. Lady, you was in your bathroom taking butt pictures. I'm sorry. But there's no way, I don't think that would have been enough for him to feel like he was a part of it. Like, I think there's a big advantage for Cody in thinking that he's winning. And that will be a way for him to feel like he's winning, for him to be able to do this very intimate, special thing with her. You know, don't tell everybody. This is the old adage. And I tell my kids this, especially my son. I don't get to the explicit of it, but you know, when they hit you with the, normally I don't do this. Oh yes, you do. Yeah, you do. Every weekend you do this. Normally I don't do this, but then she turned out to be like an expert. The best ever. She just happened to fall into it, right? She's a mechanic. She's a mechanic with the tool. Like, but all of a sudden, yeah, this is my first time ever. No, it's not. First time with you, maybe, but it's not the first time ever. So I think she might have hit him with one of those. And Cody, the weird part about it too, is that I get the feeling that Robyn was a little more into the world. We'll call it the world, like being out and about and meeting different people. And so she's had more experiences with different social dynamics than Cody. So in a way, Cody was kind of sheltered. And even the OG3, they were sheltered in a lot of ways. So when you take somebody who has these type of worldly experiences and you pair them with somebody who doesn't, then, you know, there is a certain power dynamic that's present. That, you know, it's just you have a slight advantage. Pluto was a vacation destination. Yeah, right. All right. What else was I going to talk about with that? Oh, yeah. There was one more thing that I wanted to, because, you know, I had to pull up one more clip, one more receipt that I wanted to demonstrate. And my receipt is this. One of the things that Christine talked about was the desire to get the family together, get the kids together, and this would be an opportunity more so for the kids to come together at an event, not at a birthday party, but for the kids to come together at a reunion. And she even said, I wouldn't mind if the kids could come to the birthday party because, you know, Isabel would be excited to see Robyn's kids and spend time with them. Truly, I'm sure would be excited to see Solomon and Ariel. And so they would love that. Oh yeah, Rochelle J. Thank you so much, Rochelle J. You be looking out. Please hit that like button. Share for James. Yes, please. And the HBO special. So if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Also, we buy new and used. Is it scrapbooks? Could you write that in your thing and let me know if it's scrapbook or scrapbooks or whatever? With the $4.99 super chat, I feel like Robyn was the first to lick the lollipop. Yeah. She probably the first to do a lot of things. A lot of things. She probably was doing some things to Cody that you can do that? That's possible? Oh my goodness. she turned Cody's ass out. She had his toes knocked up, boy. My man didn't know what was happening. She was like, "Oh, you the best customer. You are the best. Your customer service is on point, Robyn. He definitely improved up here." And that's why he was on the road 5. He got off at 5 o'clock. He raced his ass home like he was a teenager. I gotta get home. Do it again. Do it again. That was disgusting. I can't believe you did that. That was horrible. He left. 5 minutes later, he came back. Can you do it again? She turned his ass out. I'm telling you, she turned him out like an old t-shirt. My man got whooped because he wasn't ready. But the clip I wanted to show you guys, see, you guys got me distracted. The clip I wanted to show was actually from Robyn's kids and what they had to say. Now, this is specifically talking about them getting together. Yeah, scrapbook supplies. Okay. She tossed us out. Oh, wow. Said homegirl had the salad fork. Oh, man. You got me, scrapbook. All right, but this is actually a clip from her kids talking about getting together for the holidays and the gift exchange. And so let's listen to what they had to say. Because, again, I think that this is relevant, especially as you're talking about them getting together as a family. You see how I'm looking down? That's crazy.
Before we got on the text chain for this gift exchange, we had learned that there were some very strong negative feelings towards us coming from some of the siblings. And we also learned that they were planning on having Christmas without us, without saying anything to us.
It was very frustrating for me, and I felt really hurt and confused.
She was hurt and confused. Now, I wonder who could have possibly told them these stories about the family not wanting to spend time with them. I wonder who would have been the one talking to them about Christine and Janelle and the other family members hating their guts and not wanting to spend time with them. Could it have possibly been, Robyn and Cody? No, it couldn't have been them because they don't approve of shit talking about other people. Of course it was them, and of course they were running them down. And this is something, like I said, that I'm sure Robyn was doing with her ex-husband that Cody got called out for that podcast. Go check out that podcast, I'm telling you. One of the callers called up and they was dropping hot fire on his ass. They said, "Oh yeah, what about Robyn? You said that Christine ain't nothing because she's taking the kids away. What about Robyn taking the kids away from her ex-husband?" And Cody's like, excuse me, So this is what they do. They talk crap about these other adults, and this is one of the things I disagree with. And we'll even get into that when we start talking about Christine and McKelty and her news about the babies. One of the things that I like about Christine, even, like, I'm pretty sure, and I'm not going to canonize her as a saint because she's a human being. She was in a relationship with a man, and she had ill feelings towards him, and I wouldn't blame her, or I'm not going to give her a pass, like a blatant pass on it, but I understand that she had trouble with Cody. So there's very likely a strong possibility that, yes, she did talk to her kids about how she was feeling and what she was going through and what this man was putting her through. But she tries every effort, or at least the way she's presenting it to us, she's trying every effort to put on a strong face to maintain a relationship with Cody and other kids. Even when Peyton was standing there talking shit about Cody in her kitchen. I should have pulled that clip too. I love bringing them receipts, man. It just makes me feel good when I do it. When she was talking to Peyton in the kitchen about Cody and how Cody was treating the family and the kids, and Peyton had said some nasty things about Robyn, Christine cut it off right at the top. She said, no, we're not going to be mean like that. We're not going to talk about him like that. We're not going to do that. She was very insistent upon that fact. That showed a lot of respect and a lot of character on Christine's part, because she could have, a lot of people would have went right down, they would have got right in the coaster and they went right for the ride too. Oh yeah, let me tell you some other shit about this dumbass and his dummy wife. Let me tell you about tell you some crazy stuff about crazy head Cody and the eyebrows. I got a whole bunch of stuff I want to tell you about it, but she didn't do that. And she's been trying to set it up so that Cody can have a relationship with his kids, and Cody can have a relationship with these other people. Now, when she's sitting on the couch and she's talking, doing a confessional, she's being honest about her situation, but that doesn't necessarily mean that she's going back talking shit to these kids about these other people. The other people, or the kids most likely, are developing their thoughts and their opinions on Cody and Robyn based on their experience with these folks. So if you act like a jerk and an asshole, then your kids are going to notice that you're being a jerk and an asshole. And then when they sit there and watch you, especially when they're watching you mistreat their mom, they're going to feel a certain kind of way about it. And it's not necessarily her talking you down or talking bad about you. It's just that your kids have eyes in their head and they have brains in their head. And they're paying attention. In most cases, a lot of adults, a lot of parents, we like to pretend that our kids don't understand certain things, but they understand far more than we give them credit for, especially when they're younger. And so when these kids are watching these situations, they're watching you go over to Robyn's house all day and all night. And when they're out playing out front, and maybe you look out, you peek out Robyn's little window, then look for Christine out there, and you don't see her car, so you think it's safe for you to come out of the house where you've been spending all day at Robyn's house, and you come outside, her kids or Janelle's kids out there playing on the porch, they see you coming out of Robyn's house. They know where you spending your time at. The kids know. They don't need Christine to tell them. So you have that where again, this goes to the whole idea of, I don't understand why Christine didn't call us out and let us spend time with the kids at her house, and I feel so bad about it. Feel sorry for me, but I'm not a victim. Christine is victimizing me, but I'm not a victim, y'all. Because I'm a strong, independent woman, even though I'm dependent on Cody 100%. You know, just saying you a thing doesn't make you a thing. I'm just saying. Like, oh, wow. What else did I have? Oh, yeah. Last week, and I should have pulled that clip. One of the things that's so important when you are involved with relationships with people is that you understand, and this is part of the reason why I'm so adamant that, you know, especially as a guy, when I have guy friends or people I've known, and they say, oh, well, so-and-so said that she might be pregnant or having a baby, and, you know, I don't know if it's mine or not. You need to find out. You need to find out. And it's so important that you know, like, who your people are as best you can. This is why it's important, because Cody sat on that couch last week when they first revealed that McKelty was having twins, and he said, oh, I don't have twins in my family, and Christine don't have twins in her family, and nobody we know have twins, so it must be on Tony, his daughter's husband. Must be on him. It must be from his family. Then you talk to Christine. Christine got the whole rundown. She said, I have, my father is a twin, one of Cody's people is a twin product, has twins. I think some of Tony's people have twins or whatever. So twins are present in the family line. This is part of the reason why it's so important to maintain these relationships. If something were to happen and you need blood type information, you need health information, there's a reason why it's so important for you to understand who your people are and what your people went through. This is why you would have a family reunion, actually. It's not just so you can get together and enjoy each other as a family, just so you can know who your family is. So that way you can recognize one another. You know, and it also helps so that you're not dating each other. Mama, I want you to meet Tony. Tony? Your cousin Tony? Cousin? That's why you have family reunions. Too many people in the world for you to be laying down with family, Jack. But, so you had that. And then even talking about like McKelty telling Robyn and Cody about the twins first. McKelty telling Robyn and Cody about the twins first. Now, like I said, I can respect the fact that, you know, there are people that I like on the show and people that I don't like. So when I heard that, I was like, why would you tell them first? Oh, screw them. Bye, bye, bye. You know, I'm losing my mind. Why would you tell them, asshole? Like, you should have told them nothing. Be loyal to your mama. Like, why are you showing this kind of disloyalty? And then I had to take a step back. And I thought about it. You know, they have to show respect and love for their situations. I don't understand what happened between McKelty and Christine, or McKelty and Robyn, and why she's so close to Robyn. I know that Robyn at one point had insisted that McKelty come over and babysit for her. This is before they had the money to be able to afford nannies. So Robyn had McKelty come over and stay with her to help take care of her kids. So that put her under Robyn's roof and made her close to Robyn. With that being said, you know, I was kind of still taken aback by the fact that she went and told Robyn and Cody that. But okay, fine. You told Robyn and Cody, truth be told, to respect it all the way. I gotta stay consistent. It's her business to share with whom she wants to, when she wants to, and how she wants to. So I can't comment too much on why she did what she did, the way she did it, whatever the case may be. The thing I can comment on, though, is, again, the response of Christine when McKelty was standing there telling that story. I know, as a parent, that shit would hurt my feelings. That would hurt my feelings. If I was standing there and one of my kids had news like that and they had shared it with somebody else, you know, anybody else, before they shared it with me, then yeah, that would hurt my feelings. I guess I'm like the fourth to know. I mean, it's their business. Like I said, they can share it with who they want. I'm just telling you how I would feel about it. And I could see that it hurts Christine that she did that she shared it with. This was news that she was so excited about, and the bullshit excuse, oh, Robyn had morning sickness and shit. That has nothing to do with you being pregnant and you having twins. Your morning sickness has nothing to do with that. Now, you can call and get assistance for somebody who had morning sickness. There's nothing wrong with that, but you told Robyn because you wanted to tell Robyn. But Christine's response, I thought, was kind of cool in a sense that she didn't go crazy. She didn't kick McKelty out of the house. She didn't have all kinds of speeches and long diatribes about loyalty and accountability and how you need to be loyal to the big picture and all that other stuff. She simply said, wow, I understand that she's close to Robyn and they have a special relationship, and it's, there's nothing going to come between that, and I'm okay with it because I have to be okay with it, because at that point it's not about, even as Christine said, it's not about me and my relationship with her father and our relationship falling apart or me not getting along with Robyn. It's about her and her relationships and what makes her happy, and if she's good, I'm good, and I respect that. And that's what, again, this is part of the reason, Cody, why so many people are attracted to Christine's character and why so many people like her on this show is because of these little instances where she should be pissed and people would understand that her being angry or hurt or mad and saying something about it, but she puts her own feelings aside and puts somebody else front and center. And I think part of that, even as I say it out loud, I think part of that is from her training and how she was conditioned to deal with this family, where she had consistently put her own thoughts and feelings aside for the well-being of the family. Again, this goes back to the one house thing, where she was saying that consistently she's always put other people ahead of herself. And now is a time that she's exploring her single life, fantasticness, that she's starting to put herself forward, she's starting to put herself first, and she's starting to appreciate and enjoying her time exploring who she is and appreciating who she is. And I think that that's awesome. Tony's eyes and Robyn's eyebrows, I just caught that. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. I gotta do that thing again. Yay! I should put a little applause sound on that. There was also a question of, during the course of this, thank you guys so much for hanging out too. I appreciate it. Welcome to the after party. For those who just joined, make sure you hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Give me that HBO special, which stands for Help a Brother Out Special. I love saying that. It tickles me. Somebody said, why do you keep saying that? Because it's awesome. And I enjoy it. All right. So we're talking about would the relationship have lasted if they would have moved to Utah? Absolutely, it would have lasted longer. And to a point, this is where I say that when you go through things, you might be upset that you're going through things during the time that you go through things. But when you get on the other side of that thing, you might look back and be like, I needed to go through that thing. I needed to go through that pain, that hurt, that suffering in order for me to be put in a better position. Sometimes when you are going to be put into something better, something greater, you have to come out of that negative place, that negative spot. And I think that that's where Christine was. Because had they have moved back to Utah, so as soon as they get out to Arizona, they get settled, then all of a sudden, Utah becomes available because the laws changed. They could move back to Utah. And ironically, they could have sold the property on Coyote Pass, and they would have gotten enough money from the sale of Coyote Pass to be able to purchase land and build in Utah, because Utah was way cheaper. Way cheaper than anything that they could have built in Arizona. So, technically, if they would have been able to do that, they would have been able to reconstruct another little cul-de-sac. And because of not only Christine being back, and this is my opinion, she said that yes, the relationship would have lasted longer. Robyn said yes, possibly the relationship would have lasted longer. Cody said no, the relationship still would have fell apart. Janelle had also taken a position that the relationship would have fell apart. They didn't give a shit what Meri had to say. Apparently they didn't ask her. In my opinion, the relationship would have lasted longer because in Utah, Cody would have had backup. Cody would have had the opportunity to be able to say, this is where we are, this is what's going on, and look at all these other people, and if you leave me now, then you will be shunned by all of our friends and all of our associates and all the people that we're spending time with, the people from the church, because they would have reintegrated back into the church, and Cody would have had backup. He would have been able to carry out the things that he was trying to carry out on Christine's porch. And so because of that, I think that the relationship would have been protracted out longer. Do I think they eventually would have broke up? Possibly. And I think it's a strong indication that, especially with him becoming more and more infatuated with Robyn, that the relationship most likely would have failed. But I think that he could have drug it out for at least for a few years in Utah if everybody would have moved back. That's my two. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that he would have moved back, or they would have stayed together had they went back to Utah? Give me a 1 if they would have stayed together. Give me a 2 in the chat if you think they would have broke up. I'll be right back after Blow Me News. So, I'll be right back. Guess what? I'm back. But I think that they would have. I think that it would have been a situation where they would have wound up staying together longer. Now, some people say, "Okay, you think they would have broke up?" Okay. Eventually, too, I do agree with that. I think eventually it would have broke up. I think it would have been a lot harder for Christine to leave, though. But okay, that's fair. That's fair. I respect everybody's opinion. Let me say 1 and 2. Yeah, I think that it would have been. They would have stayed together a little longer, but I think that would have caused them to. They would have had to break up because, like I said, the Robyn thing would have been too strong. Him not wanting to leave Robyn or not be with Robyn would have been too strong. It would have created a problem. But I think it would have been harder for her to leave. Yeah. Wait, what did I say? 1 is 1 breaking up or 2 staying and 2 staying together? I forgot my damn self. How you gonna run a poll and you don't even know the answer? I don't know. I'm stupid. Told you these live shows can be rough, Jack. Okay. Yeah, Robyn would have did the same tactics anyway. Yeah. I agree with that. Oh, the next thing that I wanted to talk about on this episode was Meri's story. I think I do. I have to set up some minds. But I think Meri's story was right there. I think first things first, like when they did the recap in this particular episode, they talked about Cody talking about the barn dominium. Basically, he was going to build a barn or a structure on the land where he put his old stuff, and he was going to put Meri, his old wife, on top of his old stuff to, I guess, save and keep and hold. And that in and of itself was insulting. But if you really break it down and think about it, you have to consider the fact that the land isn't paid for. And because the land isn't paid for, the free use of the land isn't paid for, it'd be very difficult for them to get the zoning rights to be able to build anything on the property until the land is paid off. So I think that him offering a barn dominium, quote unquote barn dominium, to Meri was actually twofold. One, it was a way for him to insult Meri to her face by offering her something that he knew she would consider less than something that she would want to live in. Because Meri's a little bougie. So there's no way Meri would be excited about moving into a barn, no matter how nice it was. The second thing is that I think Cody was trying to manipulate Meri into helping him pay the land off so that he could build a barn dominium on the land for her. So he would have got the benefit of not only having her help him pay the land off, but in true Cody fashion, I'm pretty sure Cody would have either charged her rent or he would have insisted that Meri help him build the barn dominium. So he would have had Meri build him a structure, because everything that Cody did, even in this episode, just struck me as him being selfish in so many different ways. The next thing that I wanted to talk about was Meri saying that she had to be careful about who she met online, and she learned a lot from the whole catfish incident. And I was like, welcome to the 21st century, Meri. It's 2023. You should not trust everybody that you meet online. Glad you caught up. And this is, again, I think that this is not necessarily an insult towards her directly, as much as it is a reference to the idea that she was a person who was sheltered for much of her life. So, small town girl meets a big town world. Things sometimes don't work out the way you planned. This is also one of the things that I briefly kind of touched on when I was referring back to Robyn's oldest daughter dating, and my concern for it, because she is so sheltered and so protected. And in many cases, this leads to a certain level of naivete when it comes to the opposite sex and how you think things should work. It can create not only a place where she can get her heart broke, but it can also be a dangerous place. It could be a very dangerous place because you could put her in a room with people who don't have necessarily her best interest at heart and will do things to her, and she's not necessarily aware enough to realize that there are people out there in the world like that. So it kind of gives me pause a little bit. We buy new and used scrapbooks with the super chat. James, what is your unfiltered opinions of Cody's hair? I think Cody's going bald, and I think you can see it before, especially when he used to pull it back. Remember, he pulled it back in a ponytail, and all of a sudden, all this was vacant. Cody's going bald, and I think that he's using a perm to try to fill his hair out. Now, does it work? Yeah, I can see where he would be attracted to it because it fills his head out. My unfiltered opinion on it is that sometimes, as much as you might love a thing, you have to know when to let it go. And I think Cody might be rounding the corner where he might have to start really considering the fact that he got to give up the ghost. Okay, you can fry it, you can dye it, you can lay it to the side, you can do all kinds of stuff. But when it's time for it to go and it start thinning out too much and your hair start turning on you, sometimes you got to cut it loose. Much like Christine and Janelle cut his ass loose. He might have to cut them locks loose, okay? And go full baldy locks. Instead of sitting around trying to be Goldilocks, he might have to go baldy locks. He might look okay bald-headed. I don't know. You know what I mean? I guess it might, like in like a 1970s, 1980s, you know, Dr. No kind of way, it would suit his character that he would be bald-headed with a goatee. You know what I mean? That was back in the day before like real special effects was kicking. They used to have characters, they just put a goatee on them. He's the evil Spock. He's what got a goatee on. Oh man, Rochelle J with the super chat. Hold it down for a player. Mathetic was asking for it. If Sam was a man, Mathetic would have been long gone. Rubber meeting the road. Damn. Rochelle J holding back. Both barrels on them. Oh man. Okay, so oh, the other thing I wanted to talk about with Meri being the whole catfish incident, and I respect the fact that she's embarrassed about the catfish incident, and she's trying to tell us that we don't understand the catfish incident, we don't know what happened, and we don't know what was going on, and we have our opinions, and the family have their opinions, but she knows what was happening because she was involved with it. Lady, look, again, I'm a grown-ass man. Been a grown man for a while. And what you were doing was, you were having an affair. I mean, I'm not even saying that, you know, Cody wasn't wrong or didn't contribute to the situation as it were. He wasn't paying attention to you. He abandoned you. He left you emotionally distraught. He left you emotionally abandoned and withdrawn from you physically, emotionally, spiritually, in every way that matters as a partner, leaving you vulnerable for other people to come into your relationship and break your shit up. I'm not ignoring that fact. But I'm also not ignoring the fact that you were cheating. You were cheating. You couldn't, like, and some people will say, well, she never slept with him because it was actually a woman and she never met with him and blah, 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 blah. That doesn't matter because she was having an emotional affair. And in some cases, in some respects, emotional affairs can be just as damaging, if not more so, than physical affairs. If somebody is, you know, you're with somebody and that person goes off and they have a one-off, you know, they get a night estranged where they go lay down with somebody for an evening, that's bad. But if they are in love with another person, they are in love with another person, kind of like Cody was with Robyn. It wasn't the fact that Cody was over there sleeping with Robyn even before they were married. It wasn't the fact that he was just sleeping with Robyn. It was the fact that he loved Robyn and he loved Robyn exclusively to the other ladies. He was having not just a physical affair, and part of what broke the marriage down wasn't the physical aspect of Robyn and Cody's relationship, even though she was probably backflipping off of dresses on him and riding a fan. You know what I mean? Doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Whipped out the whole treat, the whole treat bag on him. Like, you know, a freak on a leash. Even though she was doing all that, what broke the other marriages up was the emotional affair that he was having with Robyn. Because his emotions became exclusive to her, and he had left everybody else, abandoned them, and even if he was going over there knocking them bottoms, you know, smashing them out, you know, crushing 8 cookies, as they say. Even if he was doing all that, it didn't make a difference because even though he was sleeping with the OG3, emotionally and mentally, he was back with Robyn. So emotional affairs can be crazy damaging. And Meri was having an emotional affair with this catfish person. Granted, promises were made. Dude said the catfish person said that they were good looking and attractive, they were wealthy, and all the things that Meri wanted, and they were kind of shooting it all in a row. But Meri believed it, and she fell in love with that person, and she wanted to be with that person. Now she's kind of denying that ever happened and saying, no, we were just friends and I got tricked. My question is, Meri, how did you get tricked? You got tricked because this person pretended to be somebody whom you would be attracted to, and then you found out that they weren't who they pretended to be. That was the trick. The trick was not just the fact that, they were a woman pretending to be a man, and oh my goodness, it's so bad that it worked out that way, and that was the end of all and be all, and that's all it was. You were having a full-blown relationship with this person. You wanted to meet with this person. And what was going to happen when you met with him? The same thing was happening when Cody was driving 5 hours away to Robyn's house. That's what was going to happen. Because you had been neglected. And dude ain't rotate your tires, and what? By that time, it was like at least 5 years. Like you hadn't been with him. So, yeah. You was hungry. He was hungry. And that catfish was a snack. so we can't ignore that. The one thing that Meri did talk about that I kind of really stuck out to me, the catfish is best friends with Robyn's best friend. A lot of folks don't know that they're like, it's crazy how tied in that catfish is to the family. So it's not like this is somebody she just met online and this person lived in Chicago or something, or, in Britain or whatever. And then she just happened to randomize meet this dude, or this person. She is tied in with Robyn's people. So it's very suspicious that Robyn, during the time when she was trying to get Meri to divorce Cody so that Cody could adopt her kids, that all of a sudden this rando person just shows up and swoons, and romances Meri and convinces her, makes her feel better about herself in a way that she can give that divorce to Cody and Cody can marry Robyn. So that was the timing of it, again, is very suspicious to me. Just like the timing and happenstance of how Robyn met Cody and the whole circumstance that they put out that Robyn met Cody with Meri, and Meri insisted that Robyn was super chill and Cody should date her, and that's kind of what happened. That's kind of suspicious to me. We buy new and used scrapbooks with the $1.99 super chat. James, what are you going to do when this season is? I am going to talk about other issues, and I'm going to talk about 90 Day Fiancé, which I'm going to do a live on 90 Day Fiancé. So if you guys are into 90 Day Fiancé, check me out tomorrow, because I'm going to be back up again live in full effect talking about that foolishness, because there is a guy on there who kind of is Cody-esque, very arrogant, egotistical, and he brings a young lady from Britain, and he gives a lot of signs that this is a situation that's not only unhealthy emotionally for this young lady, but I am actually concerned for her physical well-being as I watch this show. So I'm just going to kind of give an overview of that and talk about maybe some of the signs that folks need to look out for as you enter into these relationships and you have these kind of dealings with folks. And I think that that's one of the things that, like, as parents, as adults, as elders, as people who have maybe been around, maybe with a little more knowledge, we need to have these kind of conversations with younger folks to try to, pull their coattails a little bit so that way they can hopefully evade difficult situations and scenarios with their love life and people they prospectively could be tying themselves to, and unfortunately putting themselves into harm's way for. So I will be doing that. Hopefully you guys tune in for it. Like I said, with a lot of the stuff that I talk about, especially with 90 Day Fiancé and some of the other shows, it won't be as content driven, meaning that it's not, you don't have to watch the show in order for us to have that conversation, because I want to talk about like the bigger ideas, the bigger concepts, if that makes sense. Hopefully you guys will join me, because it'll be fun. You can give me that HBO special there too. Don't forget to hit that like button if you're in here. You haven't hit the like button. If you're not yet subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. That'd be awesome. Yeah, the one thing I wanted to talk about with Meri, and I'll kind of wrap it up for Meri, and then we're going to get into Janelle. Because Janelle had a whole bunch of stuff. I'm so proud of my girl. Janelle, man, I wanted to high five her so much. Give her a hug and tell her you're doing it, girl. You're doing it big time. But with Meri, the last thing I wanted to talk about was her saying that Jen is a person who she shares a lot of her life with, and her lifestyle with because this person makes her happy. This person makes her feel like she gets excited about sharing her life with this person. Her dreams, her goals, her aspirations, things that she wants to achieve. And I think that that's very important. And I think that like, this is kind of what I'm talking about, the bigger concepts. That is one of the more important things. Like when you have a dream or you have something that's been put on your heart to do, in some cases, not everybody is I'm kind of a religious guy, not super religious, crazy, but religion as a shield, not as a sword. But there's an old saying that, you know, when God puts something on your heart, puts a message on your heart, not everybody gets copied on the message. So you'll have things that you want to achieve and things you want to do. And I'll even give an example from my personal life. You have things that you want to try to do or achieve or things that you're kind of called to do. And everybody around you will look at you like you crazy when you say it. You know, you're like, man, I got a hope and a dream that one day I'm going to be able to do blah, 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 blah. And everybody will, you know, unfortunately, a lot of people who, even people you're close to and people who will benefit from the things that you want to do will look at you like you're insane for even thinking about doing it. Because a lot of times they run your dreams, your hopes, and the things that you want to accomplish for yourself through the lens of what they think they can do for themselves. And, you know, can I do that? Would I be able to start a business? Would I be able to go on YouTube and have a conversation with a camera for any amount of time? No, I'm too shy to do that. So if I can't do it, you can't do it. So it's not possible for anybody to do it. Definitely not you, though. So you always have that thing. And so with that, I would simply say that you have to know yourself, respect yourself enough to have a dream, be bold enough to chase that dream, and be very protective and almost violently so to defend that dream, to defend that hope. Because the world is hard enough, and there's always going to be people, friends, foes, family, who will try to prevent you from doing the things that you want to do with your life. And that's where you got to kind of take a step back and assess yourself and decide whether this thing is something that you really have or have a calling to do. Big shout out to Steve French. Thanks so much, James. Your voice was badly needed in our community. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. Reverend Dr. April Hearn in the house with this super chat. The Reverend Dr. approves this message. Preach on. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Reverend Doctor, love it. And just as a personal aside, one of the things that I went through years ago, I had a good friend, a really good friend. And I mean, this is a guy who I've been through shit. Like, you know what I mean? When you say, man, we've been through hell together. This is the guy I've been through a lot of stuff with. A lot of stuff with. Like, I'm talking about, like, situations. Real situations. I can't get too deep into it, but situations. You know, I remember there was one time, like, just as an example, I'll talk about one of the situations that I was in with this guy so you understand how tight we were. I'm a bigger guy. We had talked about that before. And when I was in college, I was at a party. Me and my buddy and another really close friend of mine, his cousin. We're all three of us. You saw one of us, you saw all of us, right? We were that tight, like this, right? And we were at the party, we jamming, dancing, having a good time. You know, I'm doing my thing, right? Go crazy, having fun, right? And there was a young lady who was hanging out with some of the basketball guys. And one of the basketball guys, all of a sudden, or at least from my perspective, all of a sudden, he starts punching this girl in the face, right? And I, being the person I am, crazy for some, for others not so much, but I didn't like it. I did not approve. James did not approve. Needless to say, things happened that evening. Now, it was me and my two buddies, and we wound up getting into a physical altercation with the basketball team, which was about 15 guys, and 10 of their friends who came to the party. We fought all of them. Right? All right. Me and my buddies here, we fought all of them. And some of us went to the hospital that night. And as it turns out, what had occurred was the young lady had simply told the guy who was punching her that he said, all right, let's go. We're going back to my room. She said she didn't want to go. And so he starts firing off in her face. And we had that issue. My friend was one of the people, like, because I'm one of them people, I have my own back. If I go out with a group of guys, I don't care who I'm with. If I get into an issue, I have a problem or it's a situation, I don't expect anybody to put themselves in harm's way for me. I just don't. Like, I do ride my road. I carry my task myself. I carry my load myself. So when I went to stop the situation, I wasn't expecting them, even though we were close friends, I didn't expect anybody to have my back in that situation. They had my back. They put themselves on the line. 3 of us wound up going to the hospital. We tore their asses up, though. We tore their asses up. But big shout out to Elsie Girl with the super chat. A little HBO specials. Thanks for all of your rad content. Love your take on reality. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. But after everything went down, like I said, and it's ironically enough, and this is one of the things that really, when I say that I don't necessarily expect people to support my decisions on things like this. Even though people at the party were aware what was happening because of the person who did it, I was ostracized from a group of people that I had hung out with. Like, people didn't want to hang out with me no more because I got in a fight with the basketball team. And I stood on that. I was like, I don't give a shit if you stand with that, then I don't want to be your friend no damn way. Right? But I was still friends with this person. And I told you all that to tell you this. There was not long after, maybe about 5 or 10 years later from that point, 5 years or so later from that point, I went to my friend. Like, I've been working in corporations. I've been doing all this stuff, making pretty decent money. And I went to my friend and I said, hey, I have a calling. I want to do like public speaking, man. I want to really get into that. I want to maybe do motivational speaking. I want to help people out. And this is something that I really wanted to do. And my friend, he said to me, and I'll never forget it because it had me feeling a certain kind of way. He said to me, James, who would want to listen to what you have to say? I mean, you're funny and you're kind of cool and all that, but no, people won't want to hear what you have to say. Like, that's not something that's in you to do. And that hurt my feelings a little bit. And it occurred to me then that even though this guy was like I said, he was ride or die. This dude, he down for the cause. We fought together, we bled together the whole night. And aside from all that, when it came time for me to reveal something that was important to me and something that I wanted to do, because it was something that I don't think he necessarily could see himself doing, he didn't think I could do it. And he didn't think it was possible that people would find anything I had to say interesting or enlightening or whatever the case may be. And so he tried to discourage me from doing it. So from that regard, I say to people, you have to protect the things that you want to do for yourself. Now, because of that situation, some other stuff that happened, I had to cut that friendship loose. And it was important. Like, that friendship was important to me. So when I sit here and I say, give the gift of goodbye to some people, I'm not just talking about situations that I have no experience in. I have experience in being tied to people and then realizing that the time frame that you had for that person is probably long overdue and it's time for you to, pick up and move on. And you have to look out for yourself and you have to protect yourself. You have to know who you are and the things that you want out of life and the things that you think that you can contribute to maybe somebody else's life to make somebody else's life better. But you have to be honest with yourself. And if you're honest with yourself, you can be honest with other people. And if you're honest with other people in that situation, I had to be honest with them. As much as we've been through together, I see now that, this next part of my life, I have to do by myself. I gotta, sometimes you just gotta move on. This is where I say, like earlier on when I was talking about Christine and Janelle and Meri standing up for themselves and recognizing their own value. This is what I'm talking about. This is why I'm so excited about these last few seasons of Sister Wives, because these people are starting to recognize their own value and recognizing the fact that they don't necessarily have to be tied to somebody else in order for them to find happiness for themselves. People should be in your life to enhance your life, not make your life. And that's just my two. So hopefully you guys weren't bored by my little story, like, oh, James, your stories are ridiculous. They're long, drawn out, dry, and boring. All right, but that's my spiel on that. I had to give that perspective. And like I said, this is what I try to do for 90 Day Fiancé. Especially, it's a lot easier because you don't have as much history for each one of the characters as you do with Sister Wives. So a lot of this stuff is just situational conveyance, like where you talk about like the situations that you see and how it can apply to different people or different situations. And maybe, just maybe, it applies to you. Maybe you get something from it. Maybe you're just simply entertained by it. Or maybe you know somebody who could benefit from having that conversation, whether it's from me or whether it's maybe I turn a phrase that you like and you want to use it. You're free to use anything I say. If it helps you and you can use it, by all means, that's why I'm putting it out there. And that's actually why I started the channel. So there's that. Okay. So as we talk about like Janelle's story, the Janelle story or end of the episode, I gotta tell you, gave me great pleasure. It gave me great pleasure. Because one of the first things that really stood out to me that I want to mention, and it's out of order, granted, but when she said, like, she was introducing Cody to her place, and she was talking about her house, and she was saying, this is what I have going on here, and look at my place. And we have to keep in mind that this is Janelle's come up. Janelle went from literally, we watched Janelle go from living in Utah with the family to moving out to Vegas where they were renting a home and she was trying to figure out how she was going to take care of her kids at the same time, providing a lifestyle for both Meri and Robyn with her 401k. She's spending all kinds of crazy money and investing in the family, just shitting money away. And she feels like she can't take care of her kids properly because she's just expelling so much money to other people. Then they wind up getting these houses. Christine and Janelle wound up taking the lower end of the houses as far as they were concerned on the cul-de-sac. Let's keep it all the way a stack. Meri talks about how she was specific about how the house was being built and what she wanted in the house because she was siphoning money away from Christine and Janelle, who were basically operating within like the pauper's budget for them to get their houses done. So both Christine and Janelle said, yeah, I got certain things that I want to get put into the house. I'm not going to force those things. And some things we can either do later or I'm going to figure out how to do myself so that we can get this done. But I'm going to go without. Meri and Robyn were insistent that their houses were going to be the biggest houses on that cul-de-sac, which they were, because if you listen to what they were saying, both of them insisted upon having a pantry and a wet bar in their houses, which automatically triggered for with the home design that they were going to have an extra bedroom in their homes, even though at the time both of them had the fewest number of children between all the wives. So we watched that. Then we watched them sell all their houses in Las Vegas, which was a bad deal. I got to do a live on that because there's so much stuff tied into that cul-de-sac stuff that's ridiculous that I figured out. But they sell their houses in Vegas. They move out to Arizona where Janelle is now renting a house. She rented 2 houses in Vegas, just crapping money away. Rented 2 houses in Vegas, trying to save up money so they could build on the land that they had not paid off. They took the money they were supposed to use to pay the land off and bought Robyn $1 million house, which would have paid the land off. Okay. But then Janelle moves into a trailer. So Janelle essentially, by all intents and purposes, for a time on Sister Wives, was homeless. Because she was living in, well, I guess technically she was living in a trailer home. But it wasn't a home, it wasn't, that's not even fair, because technically a trailer home would be a place that's in a designated location where it becomes a permanent residence. Her trailer was basically being bounced between each one of the properties because of the restrictions they had on the land. She wasn't able to maintain the property there. So technically she didn't even have a trailer home. She had a trailer that she slept in, a RV that she slept in. And that's no disrespect to people who have live in trailers. It's just, you would live in a trailer that is on a location. You probably get mail in the place where you live. Janelle couldn't even get mail. I don't think she could get mail there. She probably had to get a P.O. box or whatever. So she goes from that. Then she gets herself a little student apartment, a small apartment. And now she finds herself in a big apartment. And that apartment was nice. Good for you, Janelle. And I'm happy for her that she was able to come up that way. And the sad part about it was when she said, they were talking about the apartment, they were looking for stuff to talk about. And Janelle got excited. And I caught what she said. Because Janelle is a little slickster. She says a lot of subtle shit. Funny, but it's very subtle. And game recognized game, Chief. And she said to Cody that the place is dog friendly. They welcome dogs. At the same time, Cody's complaining that he's not welcome. So apparently they welcome dogs, just not the Cody kind. So that gave me great pleasure to hear her say that. It was funny as hell. Like, oh yeah, they welcome dogs, but you kind of in a dog house, so you out. And Cody making an effort with Savannah. I was very excited to hear about that Cody was actually trying to spend time with his daughter, which is something I've been calling for and bitching about this entire time, that Cody will neglect his kids, especially in a situation where he has a disagreement with their mom. For me, if you have a disagreement with a co-parent, then it's on you to make sure that, especially if you're having a disagreement with the other parent, it's on you to make sure that your relationship with your kids stays strong. That they understand that your disagreement with that other parent has nothing to do with them. And that's where I think Cody spending time with his daughter was immensely important, and I'm really happy to hear that. And you could tell from even Savannah's reaction that that's something that she needed. Like, Savannah needs to have that relationship with her father, because whether I like Cody or not, it is irrelevant. It's about your kids. And if your kids love you and they want to spend time with you and they're happy because Cody's spending time with them, if they're happy, I'm happy. If they think it's good, I think it's great. So he needs to recognize the importance of him spending time with his kids and spending time with just them, not as a means to try to get to their mamas, or as a pathway to get back with Janelle, or a pathway to get back with Christine, or, I guess he doesn't give a shit about Meri or Leon, so whatever. But have those relationships with your kids because you want those relationships with those kids, and those independent relationships should be important to you. One of the things that really struck me was Janelle talking about the importance of her home and the sanctity of her home. And she had said that, when I moved from the other place, and even Cody kind of caught on to it, that when she had the other apartment, that was kind of her apartment with Cody. When she got this new apartment, all of a sudden that's her apartment and her place was sacred. It kind of reminds me of Christine, where she said, my bedroom is my special place and nothing special happens between us. And Janelle is kind of falling into that same line where she's starting to appreciate the fact that, home is something important and sacred. I was always raised with the mentality, or at least the idea and the ideal, that home is the one place you should be able to go where you feel absolutely safe, where you can be yourself, where you can be vulnerable, where you can feel secure in those walls. Like, one of the things that I even tell my kids, one of the things that was told to me when I was a kid was that, the locks on my doors are to keep people out of my house. I don't ever want to have a situation where you in my house and I feel like I got to lock a door in order for me to be safe. Because if I got to lock a door in order for me to be safe in my home, then you need to be on the other side of that good door. And that just speaks to the idea, the notion that, you know, her home should be a sacred place. When Cody comes over, he doesn't make her feel safe and he doesn't make her feel secure. So because that's the case, there is a part of me that says that if Cody doesn't make you feel safe in your home and secure in your home, then, you know, you have to kind of question whether Cody should be in your home. If I can't trust you in my house, you know, if I can't walk out of a room and leave you in a room by yourself, then you don't need to be in my house. We buy new and used scrapbooks with the $4.99 super chat. How on earth does Janelle think Cody taking Savannah out for a meal every few weeks is acceptable or good enough when they live in the same area? I agree, but small baby steps. This is Cody we talking about. And, you know, he's not spending any time with these kids, or he went like a month, 2 months without talking to Savannah. So I guess for him to take her out, you know, just, especially if he's just spending time with just her, then that's huge for Cody. Because Cody would just consider, Cody would do quantity time and wouldn't necessarily do quality time with his kids. So when he went over to Janelle's house at 6 or 7 o'clock at night and then went to bed probably at 8 o'clock, only to get up before the crack of dawn or before the sun came up so he could run back to Robyn's house to take the kids to school, he wasn't spending quality time with Savannah. So as crazy as it sounds, he's probably spending more quality time with Savannah now than he was even when he was spending the night over at Janelle's house. And that's, I mean, it's a sad situation. Like, I'm not in love with the situation. Like, I wish that, you know, and I'm not just saying this for Savannah and for Cody. I say this for all kids. Like, I genuinely wish that people took more interest in their children when they have time with their kids. Because it's too often that, like I was kind of saying before, especially with this family, there's so many people that just assume that people are going to be around forever. And they don't want to take that 5 minutes, that 10 minutes just to stop and enjoy that person's company. Enjoy your kids while you can. You know, they're not going to be kids forever. You know, especially at Savannah's age when she's young and she gets older and she gets married and she starts dating and she has, you know, she gets with somebody and she has kids and she has a family of her own. She's not going to have time to sit there with you all the time. And when you're ready to relax and slow down because you raised your kids and Ariel and Solomon are out the door and they're in college and now all of a sudden you want to be a daddy to Savannah. But Savannah has already shot past that window. She has her own kids to baby and to take care of. So you want to spend as much time with your kids while you can and explore that evolution with them and that development with them while you can. Because they're only, like, you're only going to be your age once and they're only going to be their age once. So you might as well enjoy the time now that you have with them as much as you can. Don't wait for something bad to happen to sit there by a hospital bed and want to hold a hand and talk about all coulda, woulda, shoulda. Because as they used to say when I was a kid, coulda, woulda, shoulda don't mean shit. You know, what you coulda did, what you woulda did, what you shoulda did, and how you coulda made life better, and you should have spent more time together. That doesn't do nothing when that person is gone. So you want to spend as much time with them while you can and while they want to spend time with you. These kids want to spend time with him. And as ironic as it is, as much as he complains about loyalty and everything else, he doesn't recognize that they desperately want to spend time with him, but he'll turn around and say that they're disloyal. He'll turn around and criticize them because they don't do what he wants them to do, how they want them to do it, and et cetera, et cetera. But he doesn't recognize the fact that they are being loyal in their own way because these kids put up with a lot. And so if they're willing to overlook the stuff that you're doing to them so that you can they can spend time with you, then that's what you need to do. Okay, we buy new and used scrapbooks with another super chat, $4.99. Not for sympathy, but yeah, my son was killed at college at 21. Life is precious. Oh, wow, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry to hear that. You know, and again, like that's not to drag out your pain or to emphasize it, but that would be an example of what I'm talking about. Because that young, to lose life that young, especially you send them off to college, things happen. People get in car accidents, people fall off and stuff. I remember there was a guy who had young kids in my first house. The first house I bought, there was a guy, one of my neighbors down the street. He was working every day. He had 4 kids, and his wife was a stay-at-home mom, and he was doing it. Like, this dude was working. He was a construction worker. He was making good money. He went off to work one day, and a hammer had fell off of one of the scaffoldings, hit him in the head, killed him instantly, and he was gone. Like, a young, strong dude, strapping brother, gone. You know what I mean? Like, life is precious. So you have to be mindful of, like, you know, especially as old cats and, you know, old saber-toothed tigers. You know, I ain't no young kitty cat no more, saber-tooth. But it's like old cats, you know, you always assume that it's going to be you. You know, Cody, me and Cody about the same age. You always assume that it's going to be you. And when I go, they going to be sorry that they didn't spend time with me, blah, blah, blah. But life is precious and things happen. And Scrapbook, I'm sorry for your loss. I genuinely am. That makes me sad that happened to you. But, you know, as I'm sure she could attest, they could attest, you know, you can't, there's certain things that happen in life that you can't control. So you want to take as much time with your kids as you possibly can. Especially when you recognize the mortality of people and how fleeting it is, then when I do watch situations like Cody and Savannah, Cody and his sons, Cody and Isabel, that's part of the reason why I get so fired up about it, because he could be taking time with these folks that is not just necessary for their development and them as people and them transitioning into adults and then transitioning into the world and navigating the world, but it's the opportunity for you to actually touch their lives in a way that is meaningful. Like, you have an opportunity to touch somebody in a meaningful way, and you're not only denying them that experience, but, you know, in a very selfish way, you're denying yourself that experience by not taking advantage of that. So thank you very much, Scrapbook. I appreciate that. And thank you for sharing, genuinely. So with Janelle's story, like I said, she's moving up, spending time with Savannah, her house being a sacred place. And one of the craziest things to me was, we buy new and used Scrapbook. She gave another super chat. She said, thank you, James, and everyone in the chat. Now, thank you, and our heart goes out to you, genuinely. One of the things that kind of tripped me out was Cody talking about he's not putting any effort into actually getting a relationship off the ground with them. He's not trying. And in his effort, his approach to, I'm doing my best, I'm trying to make these relationships work, was him having a conversation. So he's saying that because he goes to Janelle and he says, oh, we need to get back together. You want to get back together now? I've been out here long enough. Let's start this relationship. And she's like, yeah, it's not working. He thinks that that's enough. He doesn't understand why she's not taking him back, which is crazy. And as Janelle said, and like she expressed, if he was really interested in trying to get back with me, he would be putting out some type of effort to try to make this happen. He would be calling a counselor. He would be trying to do things in order to woo me back. The problem is Cody doesn't want to woo you. Cody doesn't want to court Janelle. He wants Janelle to come back and make it easier for him. He wants the convenience of having Janelle around and him having a place to go crash and stay. And now that she's got this nice place, he wants to stay in this nice place with her. That's all it is. And it's sad and pathetic. He doesn't want to take the time out to actually explore the opportunity to get to reconnect with Janelle on any meaningful level. He just wants to have the conversation and then be able to just slide right back in without having to put any effort out, which says a lot about what he thinks about the relationship. And that speaks more along the lines of how you value, not just how Janelle should value herself, but how she should value her time. And if he doesn't value this relationship enough to put investment in it, as far as his time, his attention, his compassion, his caring, his intent, if he doesn't value the relationship enough to put himself out or inconvenience himself, then he doesn't value the relationship. And if he doesn't value the relationship, he doesn't value her. He doesn't value her time. He doesn't value who she is. And more importantly, he doesn't value what she contributes to the relationship. And so therefore, he doesn't deserve her. And as simple as that. That's my opinion. Now, you take with that what you will, but that's what I think. And so, what else did I have? Oh, yeah. My favorite part. Cody was sitting there with the time heals all wounds. We just have to spend more time just waiting for things to get better. Like, he doesn't think that he has to put any effort into making things better. He just has to wait it out. I just sit here long enough. It was the old saying, if you go to a barber shop and you sit around long enough, eventually you're going to get your hair cut. I guess Cody just thinks that if I keep showing up, one day she's just going to wrap me in her arms and say, move back in, Cody, here's my wallet. You silly ass. You silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids. And she's moved on. Apparently she like Lucky Charms. Oh, my ears are ringing. Somebody talking bad about me. Or maybe talk good. Hopefully somebody's talking good. Tricks are for kids. But good for Janelle, because she's respecting herself. And like I said, and then the whole thing, like Cody says that time will heal all wounds. And he talks about how does her having this apartment help me? How does her having this nice place to stay with her child benefit me? I don't get anything from this. And he's standing there pouting and upset. Wow, this place is really nice. I don't like the fact that you got such a nice place. I don't like the fact that you're spending such good money on such a beautiful home. This is like a luxury apartment. How big is the apartment? It's like 1,500 square feet, which is crazy big for an apartment. Yeah, and he's so pissed off. To me, that was classic Cody. That's classic Cody. He can't figure out how this thing that is for her doesn't benefit him. And because it doesn't directly benefit him and is not good for him, and he can't put that in his win column, then all of a sudden it's a bad idea. And this is stupid. Why are we renting this? And look at this dumbass cabinet with the two-tone countertops. You've never seen that before? You've never seen the kitchen countertops where the base cabinets underneath the cabinets are one color and the islander is a different color? That's unique to you? Well, I guess this broke. Like that's like a backhand comment. I guess this got broken. The islander got broke and they couldn't find the materials to replace it with the same color. They couldn't find black marble, you jackass. Is that really what you're saying? It's not like it's quartz or something. Like they couldn't find black marble. You can go anywhere. You can get discount black marble. Hell, you can get that custom epoxy and put rubber on that shit and make it look like marble if you wanted to do it and match it up to the other countertops. If you were that pressed about it and you want to do it on the cheap, it wasn't because the place is cheap. Like Cody, that was Cody's backhand way of saying that the place is cheap and run down. And here's the thing. Here's the thing for Cody. And I genuinely mean this. If you go over to somebody's house and you're standing in a place especially a place that you're not paying for or contributing to, and you have the audacity to stand in their place and look around and try to put that place down, this is the best that they can do, and you want to look around on your little high horse because this ain't as nice as the house I got with Robyn that Janelle helped to pay for and is helping to pay for? You want to look around and say that this place ain't shit? I got 2 words for Cody. Fuck you. Like that's what I genuinely mean that. I genuinely mean that. You can ride off on whatever horse brought your raggedy ass in it. Because you go over to somebody's house, and this is the best that they can do. That's their home. That's the place where they lay their head in. If you doing it yourself, you have every right to be proud of your place. I don't give a shit if it's a box. If it's yours, you have every right to stand in your place and be proud of what is yours, that you work for, that you putting your head down on. You didn't give a shit about your daughter sleeping out there on Coyote Pass. You didn't give a shit about your daughter sleeping in an RV. You didn't care that she moved into that little apartment and that she was staying there. Now all of a sudden, I'm sorry, I'm getting fired up, y'all. I gotta let it out though. My blood pressure will go crazy. You didn't care that she was doing all that. But the second she looked like she coming up and she got a nice place, now all of a sudden, oh, this place ain't shit. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Look, hold up. The cabinets are different colors. Oh, this is stupid looking. Fuck you, dude. Like, straight up. Like, and that was the one part of the episode. Like, I was cool with everything else, but when he did that, that tore me to pieces. That burned me up. Because if this is something that she's working for, especially your raggedy ass probably ain't paying child support. You probably not helping to take care of that child that y'all have. And you leaving her to do it by herself. And then you have the audacity to stand there and criticize the way and the means in which she's providing for your child. You have the audacity to stand there and pretend like she ain't doing it when she's doing damn good. Oh my dude. You messed up. You done got me fucked up. You got me messed up, bruh. If you think that I'm going to ride with that foolishness, she's doing everything she can to try to make a way for her daughter. Her and her daughter. I'm sorry. It's not even her daughter. Y'all's daughter. You're doing it together. She's doing it by herself. And you want to stand there and criticize her. You're a ridiculous person. And that shows, like, and that's, again, this is one of those examples of how it shows that you are such a small, insecure, insignificant asshole. If you can stand there and do that, you are a jerk. Now, a lot of this stuff, like I said, it's kind of, sketchy as hell when you do it. But when you stand there and do that, you going too far. Like, I can't ride with none of that. And as soon as he would have started with that stuff, at that point, I understand Janelle's trying to be cordial. I understand she's trying to be cool for Savannah. I respect that. But again, with these folks, I give them a lot of credit because they have way more patience than I do. They got way more patience than I do because I would have put his ass clean out of that house. I would have put him clean out. If you can't respect my house, you don't have no place in my house. You have no business here. You have no business here. You can't respect what like I said, if it might not be a mansion. It might not be the McMansion that you living on the side of the mountain with Robyn and y'all little cubby hole or whatever the hell you call it. It might not be that. But if this is what she can do, she should have no reason to feel ashamed or embarrassed at what she's doing. And the only reason, and we're going to keep it all the way in stack, the only reason why she's living there where she's living is because she gave everything she had to you and your raggedy ass so you could be sitting in the house that you think you special for sitting in. And that's the part that jacks me up. She gave you the money to move into the house that you're so proud of that you're using to look down on her with. Oh, your house ain't as nice as my house. Me and Robyn's house is the shit. Your house is trash. Look at this. And he's looking around like it's nothing. That apartment was nice. Bump you. That apartment was nice, you jackass. And even if it wasn't, like even her other apartment, I thought that apartment was okay. Like, if it's your place. Like I said, I respect people. I respect your grind. If you grinding as hard as you can and you get yourself a little bit of something, that's your little bit of something. You be proud of your stuff. Be thankful for what you have. If this all you can afford, you got yourself a little raggedy ass car. There's 3-4 colors. That you afraid to take it over 35 because the hood will shoot up. And it's your car. and it's getting you from point A to point B, and it's putting you in the places you need to be at the time you need to be there, then you be thankful for the car you got. You be proud of your little raggedy ass car. If you live in a small apartment, you renting a room. You renting a room. You be proud of your room. You be proud of what you do. Because you can't have more until you appreciate what you have. You can't move up unless you appreciate where you are. You can't go to the next level unless you appreciate and understand the level you on. Janelle is on her way up. And the thing is, Mr. Krusty Krab Cody, is that what you have to understand is that when you have the mindset and you're able to think your way through things, you have mindset, you have talent, you have drive, then when you lose everything, you can put it all back together again. I wonder, my friend, will you be able to do the same when this show gets canceled? Will you be able to put it back together when people aren't giving you money? Will you be able to do the same thing? We shall soon see, won't we? We'll see what you're working with. You know what I mean? Like I said, you had the audacity to stand there and try to look down your nose at people. The same people that you, and this is a lesson that was told to me when I was a kid. I'm sorry, I'm slouching. They got me fired up. The lesson I was taught when I was a kid, the same people that you pass on your way up, you will pass on your way down. And sometimes the same toes that you call yourself you're going to step on, you're going to step on these toes, they're going to be connected to the ass you got to kiss next week. Now, you're going to step on Janelle's toes, and you're going to say all kinds of things about Janelle, but she's the one who's been taking care of the finances. She's the one that cashed in her 401 to get you where you need to be. She's the one who sold her house and allowed you the opportunity to not only put money down on Coyote Pass, but for you to pay for the house that you sitting there with Robyn. What happens when that goes away? And God bless her, because she's starting to realize that she don't have to be with you. But now that she's woke up to the fact she don't have to be with you, what you gonna do, bruh? Because, like I said about Christine and Robyn, Janelle, when she leaves, she taking a bank book with her. And half of me thinks that part of the reason why Cody's sitting there looking so sad, so mad, so upset that he can't just weasel his way back in is because he's realizing that Janelle is not only cutting him out of the apartment, she's cutting him out of her bank account. And that's why his ass is upset. That's why he's mad. And I'll even substantiate that with some points that I had. I just want to make sure I hit everything. Yeah, because we'll get back into it, because there was something that Janelle said that cracked me up. But one of the things that kind of killed me was when he was sitting there saying that that he was mad about coming over and having the conversations with Janelle and Savannah, and he didn't really have a whole lot that he could talk about, because they were sitting around, like it got to the point where, like, wow, look at this. And he walking in like, wow, this bathroom is huge. This is really nice. And he go into the bedroom, wow, this bedroom is huge. This is really nice. And he's out there pouting, talking about, yeah, I'm never going to be here. She's never going to let me stay. I'm never going to have fun here. Oh, well, this place sucks. No, sir, you suck. And then he gets upset because he's like, well, I'm struggling to try to find things to talk about with her, and I don't have much in common, and there's not a whole lot I can say, because my life is Robyn, and I can't even come in here and talk about my life with her. And it's not fair to me that I can't come in here and share the special things that are going on in my life. You can't come in and share the special things going on with your life with your wife? And the reason why you can't do that is because you don't respect her as a wife. And that's what I've been saying this whole time about these types of relationships. He called her wifey, he called her wife, but he doesn't respect her as a wife. Everything that they said about all the women in the relationship are equal and everybody is equal. I don't have a head wife. Sure you do. You have a favorite wife. In fact, you only really have one legitimate wife, and you live with her. With Janelle, you don't see her as a wife. She's not an equal. So you want to go over and have conversations about Robyn the Hobgoblin, but you don't want to go over and talk to Janelle about what's going on with Janelle. Janelle's got plenty of things happening in her life. She's got your daughter there. You can talk about her. You can talk about what's going on with your daughter. You can talk about how Janelle is paying for this place. And we'll get into that in a minute. But you could there's a lot of things that you can talk about with Janelle. Janelle is experiencing a lot of changes. You can talk to Janelle about, hey, you went down to see Christine. How did that go? What did you guys wind up doing? Connect with her on that level. One of the funniest things to me, especially as Janelle was talking about the separation of the family. Not that I want to drag this out too long. I'm sorry, guys, but a little long-winded. I apologize. But one of the things that was funny to me was Cody complains about Janelle being close with Christine. So your plan worked. These women have an independent relationship of you. But Cody never wanted them to truly have an independent relationship from him. He just wants them to fall into line of what he needs at the time he needs it. He wants them to be able to get along so that when he goes over to Robyn's house, they're not mad and bitching to him because he's over at the sister wives' house and they love the sister wives and respect the sister wives so much. That's what he wants. He doesn't care about them actually having a real relationship, because when they do have a real relationship, this is what a real relationship looks like. This is what a relationship looks like if it's not revolved around Cody. And these two ladies have a relationship with each other. Now imagine if Janelle leaves and she had a strong bond in a relationship with Robyn. Or imagine if Christine left and she had a strong bond in a relationship with Robyn. Cody would be sitting there talking about Robyn's not loyal and she's not faithful and she's not committed to their relationship and she's backstabbing him and she's disloyal. He would be having all those conversations. You need to stop hanging out with these people I don't get along with. Because in Cody's mind, everything is about Cody. Now, one of the other things that Janelle said, and this is one of my, the last things I'll talk about, and I'll let you guys go because it's getting late and I know you guys have things to do. But one of the things that Janelle said that I thought was hilarious, and I'm actually going to put this in my lexicon. Janelle said basically that Cody don't have his shit together. And she said, yeah, Cody needs to get his poop in the group. That shit tore my ass up. He needs to get his poop in the group. In other words, he needs to get his shit together. And this was specifically when they were talking about the land. Like first paying off the land, the importance of paying off the land and them making sure that they're able to actually have the land, maintain the land, and the money that they put into the land, or I'm sorry, Janelle and Meri and even Cody with a little bit that he put in from Robyn's house, the money that they put into the land would actually be used for the land. Now, again, there's a lot of shady shit that happened with the sale of the homes in Vegas that I can point to and that you can actually break out logically from the way things shook out. And I think that the way things shook out, a lot of the land that was purchased that Robyn, because if you notice, Robyn owns an inordinate amount of that property out there on Coyote Pass. Part of the reason why she did it that way was because when she sold her house, a lot of the property that was purchased on Coyote Pass was purchased with her money. So she owns a good portion of that land out there on Coyote Pass, her and Cody. And they used the other wives to help supplement the purchase of Robyn's home. So, in other words, Meri and Janelle used their money to help Robyn buy her house. Robyn and Cody buy that big house they live in. Robyn, when she sold her house, she uses her money to buy a good portion of Coyote Pass. Now, the other wives contributed to Coyote Pass, but they didn't contribute at the same level. So, technically, when Cody is trying to press them to go out and buy properties or buy homes, other than building homes on Coyote Pass, what he was in effect trying to do was set them up in a position where he would have went back to them because I wish I pulled that clip. I should have pulled that clip. I didn't even think about it. But there was a point in time where Cody had went to an attorney's office and said, yeah, this land on Coyote Pass is worth a ton of money. We shouldn't even build on Coyote Pass. If we build anything on Coyote Pass, we should build rentals on Coyote Pass and rent them out and make a ton of money because it's a gold mine. So he had already had that bee in his bonnet that Coyote Pass was worth a lot of money. And that's why he's systematically been trying to edge these women out of Coyote Pass. Because one of the craziest things that he was saying when you talk about the land being paid off so that they can afford to build a barn dominium or any construction that happens on the land because of the way they borrowed the money, he says, oh, she should have bought a house. And if Janelle would have bought a house, she would have had property because she has just as much as we do. And if she would have bought a house, then everything would have been everything and it would have been great. But if Janelle would have bought a house, even as Janelle described it, she wouldn't have been able to afford to do anything on Coyote Pass. She wouldn't have had the money. So that would have edged her out of Coyote Pass. Christine had already bought a house outside of Coyote Pass. So she wasn't raring to go and build on Coyote Pass. So that just left Meri, who he has systematically either been pushing away or been trying to push into helping him pay off Coyote Pass so he can get finished pushing her all the way out the door. He and Robyn have been systematically trying to take Coyote Pass since the beginning. And I even had a video about that a little while ago talking about that. Him and Robyn been trying to take that property, even breaking it down into 5 plots where they talk all the time about estate and estate planning. How many kids does Robyn have? 5. How many plots of land were they going to subdivide the Coyote Pass into? 5. like the maths. You understand what I mean? So it's always there. Now, let's talk a little bit about, because again, you know I brought them receipts. So let's talk a little bit about let's talk a little bit about what Janelle had to say with regard, and this broke my heart when they got into that argument. Let's talk a little bit about where Janelle was with regard to her investment in Coyote Pass.
Men don't feel love from women who don't respect them. I feel like Janelle struggles to respect me
And that
or
was
show me
terrible.
respect.
There was no sound on that. Give me a second, guys.
Men don't feel love from women who don't respect them. I feel like
You
Janelle
can see
struggles
all
to
that,
respect
can't you?
me or show me
I'm
respect.
trying to do it behind the scenes, but I'm not that good.
Men don't feel love from women who
And
don't
that doesn't
respect
have sound in it.
I feel like Janelle struggles to respect
So I
me
told
or
you.
show me respect. Might be an unfair statement.
I'll be doing this stuff, and I'll be like, I figured it's all set up, and it'd be wrong.
Men don't feel love
Welcome
from
to the
women
live show,
who
y'all.
don't respect them. I feel like Janelle struggles to respect me or show me
You didn't
respect.
hear that?
Might be an unfair statement. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way that we argue. If you don't respect me, don't bother with the love.
Oh, nope. No
It
sound.
just doesn't work
Hold
in
on.
my world.
Here we go. I think I got it this time.
I'm not going to break my back to.
Okay.
Men don't feel love from women who don't respect them. I feel like Janelle struggles to respect me or show me respect. Might be an unfair statement. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way that we argue. If you don't respect me, don't bother with the love. It just doesn't work in my world.
My fault, y'all. That
I'm
was
not going to break my back to work
actually
for
the
you
wrong
when you
clip.
don't respect
Let
me.
me fix this one
I'm not going to break my back to work for you when you don't respect me.
so we
I'm
get
just
that right.
not.
So we go to
Janelle
it.
needs somebody who'll break.
Here's what I was playing before.
I'm not going to break my back to work for you.
And that sound.
I'm not going to
oh,
break my back to work for you when you don't respect
I was
me.
doing this last minute.
I'm just not.
Messed it all up. See,
Janelle
it messed my
needs
whole
somebody who'll
flow
break
up,
their
y'all.
back to get this project done.
Now I
and
look,
that's not me.
I look
right
so
now.
unprofessional. Here's because I mislabeled it on my little keypad. Here's the Cody Pass One Park. Ugh. Cody Pass is a mess.
I'm not going to break my back to work for you when you don't respect me. I'm just not. Janelle needs somebody who'll break their back to get this project done, and that's not me right now.
Thank you, Rochelle J. Appreciate that. Yeah, but obviously it didn't work out like I planned. Essentially, what it comes down to is Janelle had an instance where she was sitting there crying after the first fight they had. I'll describe it. Use my visuals. Janelle had when they first had their argument, Janelle sat there and cried and talked about how she didn't have anything. She didn't have nothing. She didn't have nothing to her name. She was basically distraught and desolate because she had invested so much time, energy, and effort. Her investment as far as her 401k, all the money that she had in her bank account went to support the other members of the family and to help the other members of the family to accomplish the goals and things that they had set out for themselves, including Cody in purchasing that home, even with Christine helping to purchase her home, so on and so forth. And Janelle, when she looked at herself, she didn't have anything because she did all that on the promise that Coyote Pass would be the place where she could have a nest egg for herself and her kids, like that inheritance, that estate. And then, as we heard in that last clip, where Cody was sitting there talking to the family, he was saying that, or talking to the confessional, saying that I'm not willing to break my back, and she need me to break my back to help her pay this property off. No, sucker, because based on the conversation that Janelle was saying that they had with regard to Coyote Pass, they were essentially saying that my fault. They were essentially saying that with Coyote Pass, they took out a loan, and most likely because they couldn't get a mortgage from a traditional lender in order to purchase Coyote Pass, they took out a loan from the owner on Coyote Pass. This is why I was saying they have to pay the land off before they build on it, because of the way the loan would have been constructed, as far as the personal loan between the owner, the person who owns the land. So in order for them to do anything, they have to pay the land off. Now, the money that Cody spent on buying Robyn's house could have been used to pay Coyote Pass off, in which case they would have had funds to be able to focus on building on the property. But as somebody had mentioned just in the chat, there is so much work involved with Coyote Pass. There's no feasible way that this family could afford to build on Coyote Pass. Period, point blank, the end. Like, it will cost them a ton of money. And this is before they even put stick nor stone on that property as far as a house. It will cost so much money for them to develop the land in order for them to be able to build on the house or build on a property, that it becomes unreasonable for them to think that they're just going to walk in and do it. And this is one of the complications that I think is kind of pressed about, like, the whole idea of the Coyote Pass investment. And this is what made it so foolish. Part of me thinks that when Cody was doing his initial pitch and sale of Coyote Pass, and he was trying to sell it to the ladies, he got in his mind, because of his experience in Las Vegas, where they met with a builder who had already developed the land, and he was just talking about, like, these are the houses you can build on this cul-de-sac. Cody got in his mind that, hey, that looks easy. That I could do that. I could do that. Like this, I just buy some land. I'll throw some houses up on there, however I design them, and it'll be great. Not realizing that this guy is a developer. There is a ton of work that goes into developing land. You have to run unless you're trying to build a real stylistic cave on the property, you know what I mean? A futuristic cave like this. Well, caveman would go crazy. Look at this. You still got to go out and pee by the bushes, but, the house looks nice. So unless you're trying to do that, you have to run utility lines to the home, sewer lines to the home, water, lights, electricity, all that has to be run out. And that costs a ton of money, especially if you're in a place that's not where you don't have a whole lot of development around you. And if you're on the plots and the acreage that they have on Coyote Pass, it will cost a ton of money. Even if they had a trunk or a line that ran down the street for Coyote Pass where they are, even if they had a line there, for them to run it from that street corner to their house would be a crazy amount of money. Like, we're talking about a ton of money for them to do it. Like hundreds of thousands of dollars just for them to be able to get the lines and stuff laid. And this is before they even bring somebody out to look at the land and start to try to cut into that mountain to put a house up there. So there's a ton of money that has to that's involved with that. And one of the things that kind of cracked me up is that when Cody was talking about the apartment and apartment size, it was insane to me that the apartment that Janelle just moved into was bigger than the house that she had proposed of building on Cody Pass. Like, so he was saying, oh yeah, it's a waste of time and a waste of money for you to put that casita, basically a garage with a house on top of it, out there on Cody Pass because it's 2 acres of land. And I don't really want to waste the money. So what we could do, and all of a sudden this motherfucker became French. Like, you know what I mean? He talking about we, me sure. We. What we could do, what we could spend our money on, and how we could build our house, and what we, what's this we stuff? I am the one paying for the apartment. I am the one who's going to have to put their name on a on a loan agreement in order to develop a piece of property out there. I am paying for everything. How do you go from I to we? Especially when we are not talking about our bank account. We're talking about my bank account. And that really goes to the depth and breadth of where I think Cody is. And this is one of the last things I talk about, I promise. Is that when he talks about the apartment doesn't work for him, he talks about the things that they need to do as far as the land on Cody Pass. When you are about to have nice things, or you about to get nice stuff, Cody doesn't want to see you have nice stuff unless he gets to share in those nice things. Because that's who he is. That's the dude that she was in a relationship with. If when he's talking about we need to build a bigger house on Cody Pass, he's talking about using Janelle's money. But the reason why he's saying we is because he wants to have his name on her house. That's why he is talking about we. Because that when he bought that house with Robyn, he wasn't talking about, yeah, Janelle, you know, we got a place out there on not too far from Cody Pass that we helped to buy, that, you know, we put money towards. Basically, Janelle put money towards. There was no we then. In fact, anytime he talks about the separation of himself with the wives, the we always turns into your. We're going to split your stuff. We're not going to split our stuff or my stuff. My stuff is your stuff. What's yours is yours. What's yours is mine. And what's mine is mine. And that's kind of where Cody is. And I think that in and of itself is indicative of the way that he carries or does this entire relationship. He sees the relationship through the lens of how he benefits from it. And if he doesn't get a direct benefit from it, then it's stupid, it makes no sense, and it shouldn't be done. If Janelle rents this beautiful apartment and she's living there and she's happy and her daughter is happy, it doesn't make sense if he can't stay there. If he doesn't feel like this is a place where he can go crash, or say that he has a luxury apartment. I got a house. I mean, imagine from Cody's perspective what he would say, because he's such a small-minded person. He's so insecure. He's like a little kid. He wants to be able to stun on fools, as young folks used to say. You want to be able to stun on them. So you want to say, yeah, I got a house that's 4,000, 5,000 square feet. In the same town, I have a luxury apartment. And then in the same town, I'm having 4 or 5 homes built on 15 acres of land that I own out there on Cody Pass. He doesn't want to take into account that these other people's names are on it. He wants everything to be him and about him. And this is the contradictory part of, even when I talked about like that Mormonism live, and I did that whole live on that, and I even released a video talking about hypergamy. So check that hypergamy video out, because that's the manosphere stuff that I thought was really interesting. I really got into it with a video I shot today and released today. But even as he talked about that stuff, when he talks about his resources, everything that these ladies contribute to him to make his life better, he sees it as him doing it. And it's the most selfish thing ever. Like having people in your life who you contribute things to, and you try to make their life better, and you're trying to increase their the benefit for them, and they turn around and they ignore your contributions and pretend like they're doing it themselves. And in fact, not only are you not helping me, it actually hurts me to spend time with you, is basically what he tells Janelle, Christine, and even Meri. Like, it hurts me that I'm inconvenienced that I have to come by and see you when I do come by and see you. Because I personally don't get a benefit from it, even though he gets the benefit of their bank account. Like I said, it's crazy. Overall, with tonight's thing. Yeah, the McMansion's right down the street from Colony Pass. You can walk to it. But with everything being said, like I said, my first impression of tonight's episode, I genuinely think that TLC needs to start stepping it up. Like they're kind of pacing it up where it's kind of things are starting to fall in place where a lot of the bigger arguments will happen, I think, relatively shortly. So that I think they're trying to pull it where they gave us the little bit of smoke and fire in the beginning. They're dragging us out in the middle, and then they'll probably set the fireworks off for the last few episodes, and then maybe even a tell-all. And I think that they think that that'll carry them into the next season. But right now, they're kind of dragging it out. And they're going to find themselves in a situation where only the diehard Sister Wife fans will kind of hang in there. So they'll experience a peak now, but unless they start feeding the beast and start giving us something more than just kind of rehashing the same issues and retreading the same issues, then they're going to lose a lot of folks moving forward. That's where I am. All right. What do I think about Cody's last words on the podcast? Honestly, I can't recall what his last words were. I think it was, like, to be honest with you, his whole demeanor on the podcast, for me, for those not familiar, it's the Mormonism Live podcast that he did that I'm referring to. For me, his whole conversation and demeanor on that was very disingenuous. I think that for the most part, he's trying to play into a role for an audience that is unfamiliar necessarily with his work on Sister Wives and how he's presented on Sister Wives. So he's trying to rebrand himself in an effort to try to rebrand himself because he hasn't learned anything from his experiences on Sister Wives. He's painting himself into a corner in a broader sense. So now he's trying to go to different stages and different platforms, but he's bringing that same energy, and because he's bringing that same energy, he's going to be received the same way. And I think that it's kind of a wasted opportunity for what he's trying to do. Crucial Ton, I'm rocking with this thing to the wheels fall off. All right, here you go. All right, now. CJ said, hey, we had to listen to Meri's catfish story for 2 years. That's right. It seemed like for the longest time, every time they wanted to talk about anything, they talked about this catfish stuff. Like, oh, the catfish. And it's to the point where, to be honest with you, I think that what happened to Meri was terrible. Again, I don't want to retread a whole lot of ground either. But again, I think that the principle that I would carry from that is never leave a situation, never leave a marriage or a relationship for a marriage or a relationship. Don't leave somebody for somebody. Because when you do that, it puts a lot of undue pressure on the next relationship, because that relationship has to work out because you gave up this other relationship. Now, if you leave this relationship because you don't want to be in it anymore and you just happen to meet somebody on your way out, it is what it is. But never leave somebody for somebody. That's what I kind of felt with Meri, because she was leaving Cody's ass because she found somebody better. And that was legitimate. And I did have that. Oh, that's what I forgot to put in. Yeah, she was legitly leaving Cody. Let me see something real quick.
You emotionally have left and abandoned them in some ways, right?
Well, abandoned, please.
Well,
I take the word back because
okay.
I take offense to that word of abandonment. When Meri had an affair, she was leaving my ass because she was like, I'm done with this. I am done with you. I am done. She made it clear to everybody that she was getting out of there.
And that's the whole thing. Like, oh, even when he gets called out for abandoning Meri and causing her to be in that situation, then it's, oh, please, I didn't abandon her. You did abandon her. That's what opened her up for it. That's why she was doing it. But they kept bringing it up. And another part of that really bothered me was the idea that if you are in a relationship, and this is any relationship, marital, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, work relationship, friendship. If you're in a relationship and you make a mistake, and the people you associate with won't ever let you live down or forget about that mistake, then you may have to give them the blessing of goodbye. Because how do you grow as a person if you always have to relive the worst day of your life or a bad decision that you made? Now, granted, if you continue to make the same decisions and the same type of bad mistakes and same bad decision-making skills, bad choices, then yeah, your friends should remind you. Like, that's what it's there for. That's what they there for. They there, yo, man, remember that last time you tried this? It didn't go good, did it? You go out, you take your friend out to a place, and he messing up, and you go, okay, you cheated on your wife. All right, fine. It's been a little while. You guys worked it out, and then you say, okay, yeah, let's go to the bar. We can hang out for a little bit, and we can do some cool stuff. You get to the bar, and the first thing he do is have a couple of drinks. He start drinking too much, and he start flirting with the girls. You as the friend, you gotta, hey man, let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Remember last time you decided to do this? You was out here hanging out, drinking, and you did the wrong thing, and now all of a sudden you almost lost your wife. Well, I don't want to see you go through that, because I was the one who was sitting there holding your hand while you were sitting there crying like a baby, talking about you never do this again, and you about to do it again. Let's go. When you remind people that way, that's one thing. But when somebody is trying to grow and develop and evolve and become better, and then every time, no matter what they do or what they're involved with, or every time they make a move, you always want to stand there and try to remind them about that time. Remember that time you messed up and you almost ruined your life? Remember that time you decided that you was going to start your own business and it failed? Well, you should never do that again. Like, then you have to kind of look at them a little different. And in Meri's case, she was always, I felt like the catfish thing was that kind of lesson. Because she was talking about leaving, like Cody had abandoned her. Cody wasn't really dealing with her. He was ignoring her. He wasn't spending time with her. He wasn't investing in that relationship. He was mistreating her. And because she had decided to leave and it didn't work out, he was going to not only remind her, but he was going to remind the other wives and see, look, Mary's the example. If you leave and you do the wrong thing, then you'll get punished. In fact, let's take a listen to what he had to say.
You emotionally have
when it
left
came
and
down to
abandoned
that.
them. In some
We circled the wagons as a family to protect her when she realized that she'd been duped. She was deceived. She was leaving. She found something better. She was leaving me for a better, richer man. And because we did that, in her own mind, she doesn't even realize what happened. She sees herself as a victim, which is true, but that she had done nothing wrong. And she would have never even been the victim if she wouldn't have done something wrong.
That's right, Screech. She wouldn't have been the victim if she hadn't done something wrong. Because again, they're pushing the whole idea that even her asking or questioning whether Cody is a good husband, a spouse, whether this is a relationship she should be in, whether she should leave the relationship or the family or not, that she's being punished because she did something wrong. In my mind, her only punishment is that she didn't do the wrong thing the right way. She didn't leave. She didn't leave. And she allowed herself to be discouraged for doing something for herself. And it's just a sad situation. And the sad part about it is that when Meri decided to go, her failure to launch became the example for the other ladies. That's why it was so important for him to continually shun her, make her feel bad, make her feel like she always has to struggle. And in that way, she was an example that he could cite for Christine when she was talking about leaving. Yeah, you don't want to be like Meri, because remember when Meri tried to leave and she found out that there was nothing out there for her, and then she had to come crawling back, and I didn't let her back. And now she's still begging her way back, and I'm not letting her back. So you better watch yourself. And that's the lesson that he was trying to teach her. And it wasn't just for Meri, it was for the other wives. Conversely so, when Christine left, I knew that the other relationships were not long for this world. Because when Christine left and she's having the time of her life and she's coming up like a champ and she's going on dates and she's living her best life as a single person, now all of a sudden Christine becomes the example of what could be. And once that happens, these other ladies start looking to the left, looking to the right. What am I doing? And they decide, you know what? Now it's time for me to pull up stakes. But this is also, when I talked about them going to Utah, this is how the power of influence and who you associate with, the power of association, this is where that kind of comes into play. Because if you go to Utah, if they would have went to Utah, they would have been in the same situation that Meri was in when she tried to leave. If there's a failure to launch, you're surrounded by a bunch of people who will criticize you and make you feel bad for your decision. If they didn't leave for Utah and Christine is able to think more independently of groups and friends and associations, the people from church, the people they associate with, people they deal with, the other polygamists that they hang out with all that aside, she's able to get her independence on and make decisions for herself. Then she decides that, you know what, this relationship isn't working for me. And I can pack a bag and I can go and live my best life. So that's where I'm at. What do you guys think about the thing? Like I said, I appreciate you guys coming out, hanging out with me for the after party, sticking with me for so long. I'm not going to hold you. I know I'll be running these lives all crazy. I don't even know what time it is, y'all. It's almost 2 o'clock in the morning. I'll be running these lives crazy, and you guys be hanging in there with me. I appreciate that so much. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Thank you so much for coming out. I appreciate you. I appreciate you spending the time. Thank you guys for helping out with my chats, keeping everything popping. I see the conversations are all the way live. I genuinely appreciate that. Again, this is My Take. I'm James. This has been My Take on Reality. And as always, I'm out. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you. Have a great time. Have a great night. Be safe. Make sure you take care of yourself. Take care of the people you care about. And live your life the best way you know how. All right. I'm out. Thank you, guys. Have a great night.